Ahead of the 2020 season, I do have more sort of commissioner housekeeping to do. It looks like there are still drafts of players going on, and that's really uncomfortable because Alec Boehm here taken first in what appears to be a 2019 first-year player draft, which just completely glitched and we couldn't pull up any info about it, but he's here now. He's on the Oakland Athletics, but he's a duplicate player because he's also in the red system and he's not very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through, and at least for some of these guys who could be major leaguers, just delete their clones basically. So I'm going to say this is the real Alec Boehm because I think he's got a chance to make the opening day roster for the Oakland Athletics, maybe even replace Josh Donaldson. And this Alec Boehm never existed. He was picked in the third round anyways of that 2017 first-year player draft. So yeah, last few years here, I would say the first-year player draft system kind of falling apart, but it functioned really well, and it functioned for really the important years because we just want to make sure we get a good glimpse of the majors in 2021. For prospects who would have made it to the majors in 2022, 2023, and beyond, they don't really matter. I mean, this is not simulating the next 10 years of MLB. It's the previous 10 years. So just heads up, I'll be trying to take care of that, but if there are clones, it's my bad. The good news is that after Alec Boehm, no one is particularly good. No one I think is going to make a huge impact throughout this save. Brady Singer looks different. He looks like a guy who could pitch in the majors, but he's the only Brady Singer right now, so he joins the minor league system for the Brewers. You can add that to your notes. The Reds did get a clone of Victor Gonzalez that looks like he could be a really good relief pitcher. He's been a pretty good relief pitcher in real life lately, so I'm cool with that. He did have a clone, but that clone never got anywhere. I mean, he was just played 1 year in the minors and retired, so that can continue. The Reds have this guy now. Actually, I think I'm going to delete them because there's a bunch of these guys. Ian Anderson has a super reliever variant of himself. Sixto Sanchez has a super reliever variant where they only have 2 pitches, but they could be elite relievers. So they're just young elite relievers pouring in that are young, great starting pitchers in real life. Very weird. Going to try to nip those in the bud if I can. Yeah, you can see it right here. Tristan McKenzie's one. Christian Javier's one. Let's see here. David Garcia, Dane Dunning, Ian Anderson. Yeah, we basically just got to get rid of these guys because A, they're clones, and B, it's just weird. These are starting pitchers, and they all have just shown up as elite relievers who would never even dream of being starting pitchers because they have 2 pitches and 20 stamina. Jose Leclerc is different. He's actually legit. He's been around for a few years, but yeah, these other guys gotta go. Let's see here. Tristan McKenzie's gotta go. And I think that might be about it. Believe it or not, this Tarek Skubal is actually legit. He was picked in that 2017 first-year player draft. He was edited by me, but the talent change randomness has completely taken over. His stuff is a 90 on that 20 to 80 scale, and he's going to be a very interesting pitcher possibly these next couple years for the Chicago Cubs, so he's legit. I'm just checking through one more time just to make sure we don't have any of these weird reliever clones, because the problem is if you get too many of those guys going, it cheapens, the great legit relievers like Leclerc, like Craig Kimbrell, like this guy, 21-year-old Luis Amaya. We want to make sure that this game is fair to them. I'm going to let Cody Hoyer stay because, this is his clone who hasn't really done anything really, and he's a reliever in real life, so sorry for getting so interventionist. I'm just trying to hold this together by the seams and we can get going with our last couple seasons. Alright, so it is indeed opening day 2020. We'll be playing a full 2020 schedule, 162 games, no COVID, no 60-game season, no expanded playoff, all that. We're playing a very normal 2020. Here's the 4-star and higher batters in the league right now, according to the OOTP star system. Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of them. He is the reigning National League Rookie of the Year. He won that in 2019. He is turning into an absolute star. Trevor Story is here. Corey Seager's here. Miguel Sano is here. So is Joey Votto in his second year with the Red Sox. Trying to see if there's any really interesting names here. Buster Posey, we haven't talked about him in a while, but here are his career stats. Still one of the top catchers in the game, although I honestly think it might be JT Realmuto who's starting to take over that title. Omar Narvaez, this is his first year with the Phillies. He's had 2 really good years back-to-back with the Tampa Bay Rays. Ryan McMahon is one of those star hitters for the Los Angeles Angels. Andrew McCutchen, still up there. His career, he's had a lot of sort of average-ish seasons and, some great ones too. 2016 and 2018 most recently. We'll see what he has in store for us in 2020. Freddie Freeman on the Miami Marlins. Gurriel Jr. had a huge year for the Phillies last year. He also had, it looks like he's just had some really good years in general. In 2017, in half a year, basically, he hit 27 home runs. So a very good player for the Philadelphia Phillies. Wander Franco, this will actually be his second year. He's the reigning AL Rookie of the Year, which he won in basically his age 18 season. This is his age 19 season. I don't mind the accelerated development and appearance of Wander Franco. I think he's definitely a player that people want to see no matter what, even though the simulation only goes through 2021. Brandon Downs is a guy who's just kind of come out of nowhere to become a really good player for the Miami Marlins. Last year hit 46 homers, had an OPS over 900, 6-WAR season for him. Josh Donaldson, his first year with Detroit. Yordan Alvarez, huge breakout last year, hit 52 home runs. He's one of the top power hitters in the league for sure. Ozzie Albies is looking like a really good player for Boston. Weirdly enough, he's actually been DHing a lot because Mookie Betts is their second baseman, or should I say has been their second baseman. He's moved on, so now Albies has a position to play. Matt Adams, just a lot of home runs for Matt Adams, 266 home runs, most of them coming in like the last 5 seasons, so he's just been a crazy power bat in this save. Jesse Winker, huge year last year, signed an extension with Cincinnati and immediately paid off. JT Realmuto, who I think may be the top catcher in baseball at the moment. 2 great back-to-back seasons in 2018 and 2019. Shohei Ohtani. Here you go, Shohei Ohtani. This could be his first full year in MLB with the Diamondbacks. He had some pitching appearances last year. Didn't hit or pitch particularly well, but he looks like a guy, honestly, at this point where you may just want to play him at first base because he is a really, really nice hitter, but could be used out of the bullpen. Leblebjian, huge season last year for Toronto. They're the World Series champions. Brett Lawrie with the Cubs. He's a beast. Yelich, reigning MVP. He's won back-to-back. Daniel Vogelbach, 5-star hitter. Had a really, really good 2019. Thank goodness, Anthony Rizzo left so he could finally get consistent playing time. Mike Trout, Alex Bregman, and Mookie Betts are your other 5-star men. And Mookie Betts with, this is his first season in Detroit, and I actually really like this Detroit team this year. They had a huge offseason. They added some really fun guys. They added, this is Arenado's second year there, but they added Donaldson, and they added Mookie Betts. Detroit, definitely a team to keep an eye on, I think. Here are your top starting pitchers in the league at the moment. 4 stars or better. Brandon Woodruff's won a couple Cy Young Awards. Didn't win last year, though. Alex Wood. Jared Parker is on the Detroit Tigers now. He's sort of... he was kind of brought in as a replacement to Josh Johnson, who's actually the current reigning AL Cy Young Award winner, although Josh Johnson's ratings not looking too good coming into this year. I don't even see him right now, but he was like a 3-star guy last I checked. Anyways, moving on here, Chris Medlin. He won a Cy Young Award a few years ago, although not the best of 2019s with the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals just had a weird 2019. They were really bad. Mike Leake, Matt Latos, Jack Flaherty. The Grom is hurt, but it's hand soreness and it's minimal. His past 2 seasons have not been the best, but in 2017 he had the best year of his career. Yu Darvish is still here. He's still kicking around. I feel like we haven't talked about him in a while, but he had a bit of a down year in 2019, but not terrible. He's a guy you can rely on just for a lot of strikeouts more than anything. Great strikeout guy. Bumgarner's still on the Cardinals. Sale's still on the Reds. King Felix, this is his first year with the Milwaukee Brewers. He's been one of the absolute top pitchers throughout this save and is clearly on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Now he's over 200 wins. He's over 3,000 strikeouts, and his F4, unbelievable, 91.7 and a 147 career ERA plus. That is all-time great stuff. David Price, unfortunately, last year, in like his first start of the season, tore his UCL. He has a big contract with the White Sox, still has 3 years remaining on that, plus a vesting option. He'll be back from that in 5 to 6 weeks, but it's super unfortunate. But his ratings have not gone down so far, so maybe he'll be okay. But he is getting up there in age. And Clayton Kershaw, definitely the best starting pitcher in baseball right now. Clayton Kershaw has won, let's see here, 3 Cy Young Awards in the last 4 years in the National League. 2019 might have been the best season we've seen a pitcher lay down in this simulation so far. He was absolutely monstrous. So those are some of your top players around the league. Let's check in with that top prospects list. Here are the names coming down the prospect pipeline. You can just judge here from like the potential ratings. Of course, our minor league systems are not as strong as they used to be. First year player draft has weakened and now basically no longer functions, no longer spits out, potential star players in MLB. And honestly, guys, that's okay. We only have 2 more years of this left. Like, there weren't that many young guys who are going to come up and make an impact in MLB to begin with. So I will say, just with the save file in general, yeah, you can sim up until 2021, but I would not recommend going much further than that, I would have to say. Anyways, Grayson Rodriguez is your number 1 prospect in MLB. He was selected 5th overall in the 2017 first-year player draft. He is pretty legit. He is in the San Francisco Giants minor league system. This guy, Nick Decker, who I'm not too familiar with, has kind of come out of nowhere, but he's in the Kansas City Royals system. Looks like he could be a very, very good corner outfielder for them. O'Neal Cruz on the Tampa Bay Rays. Huge power, of course. I edited him to make him better, I believe. And then I think the talent change randomness has hit him as well. So that's O'Neal Cruz. He is currently on the Tampa Bay Rays. Let me just make sure there's no O'Neal Cruz clones. I got to double check on that real quick, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, he's the only O'Neal Cruz. Just got to make sure. This guy, Cater Montero, who is a pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Nasty stuff potential. We've seen a lot of guys like that. Josh Stowers, outfielder in the Rays system. He looks like he could be a terrific player, honestly. I would love to see him, make the majors this year. Austin Riley on the White Sox. This guy, Daritson Feliz. This guy, Jason Groom, I believe he was a big Red Sox prospect at one point. Jason Groom has talent change randomness, hid himself to be very good. He was a 37th round pick in that 2015 first-year player draft. Look at him. He could really turn out into something before this this simulation is over. Garrett Hampson on the Giants and Michael Montero on the Blue Jays. You also see Juan Soto on the Astros. This could be, actually last year he made his MLB debut, but he still retains prospect status for now. He's still a rookie technically. He's definitely potential to be a good player, but just not the superstar. So that's Juan Soto. I'm going to scroll down here. I see Gavin Lux. I see Jared Kelenic. I see Brian Hayes. I see Brandon Davis. I see Jonathan India. I see Nick Madrigal. Keston Hiura was a top prospect for a while. He's dropped to 47, and he doesn't really look like a guy who's going to be much better than maybe a league average big leaguer at this point. I see Lucas Giolito. I see Aaron Ashby. I see the new Alec Boehm, the one that just got added by Oakland. And your 100th best prospect is Abel Duarte, a 25-year-old starting pitcher in the Brewers system. So there you go. It's a weekend prospect class for sure, but really at this point, all of that sort of big name, young major league talent, it's in the majors by now. I mean, Wander Franco was basically the last guy to drop. Preseason predictions seem to think the Tampa Bay Rays will win the AL East. The Blue Jays are the reigning World Series champions, so we shouldn't forget about them, but Tampa Bay Rays currently projected to win the AL East in 2020. They have Javi Baez. They have Jay Bruce, who's just like a gold glove machine, basically. Evan Longoria is still going for them, and he's been, he had a really down year in 2015 after he had just a phenomenal year in 2013 where he won the MVP award. Now he's sort of reached a more consistent level these last few years. He's still going pretty strong at the moment, so that's Evan Longoria. A lifelong Tampa Bay Ray, well, at least for now. Jed Jerko is here. He's been a very solid piece for them. They're pitching this guy, Tyler Epler, has some really impressive ratings. He had really good seasons in 2017 and 2018, and also 2015. He's been a good young pitcher in this league. He's sort of their ace. They have this guy, Richelson Pena, Anthony Fernandez, Arjun Angulo, and Andrew Suarez. I haven't looked much at the Tampa Bay Rays lately, but they would be a really interesting team, I think, overall. They also have Chris Taylor. This will be his second year with them. And Jose Leclerc definitely has the makings of a star closer in this league. 100 stuff on the 20 to 80 scale. Twins projected to win the Central with the Tigers very, very close to them. I'm rooting for the Tigers personally. The Twins, they have still pretty good pitching. They have Leak, Tanaka, Hughes, Perez, and Brad Hand. Perez looks like he could really develop into like a nasty strikeout pitcher. we've seen a lot of guys, and I think it's just kind of a quirk of the engine at the moment. A lot of like high stuff starting pitchers with questionable control. Herman Marquez is kind of like that, but he had a really good season last year for the Washington Nationals. Really good lineup in Minnesota. Not a lot of like superstar type power. I guess the closest thing to that is probably Sano. But yeah, that's the Minnesota Twins. Detroit Tigers, of course, we've kind of dubbed them the winners of the offseason. We'll have to see what happens there. Angels and Mariners projected to tie in the West. The Angels have been absolutely dominant in the regular season past couple years. They have Trout. They have Moustakas. McMahon's been really good for them lately. And actually, lately, their pitching has been a strength, whereas previously it's been a weakness. We'll have to see how their rotation holds together this year. Looks like it's closer to average. But Seattle Mariners, they have Jared Kelenic. Looks like he has made the opening day roster for them. So that's Jared Kelenic for 2020. They also have Jeff McNeil. And I haven't said Jeff McNeil's name much, but he has turned into, just a solid kind of everyday player in the big leagues. He is sort of the replacement for Kyle Seager, I guess, at this point. Jose Iglesias is their third baseman. Garrett Whitley, this guy in center field, is like a back-to-back Gold Glove winner. And right now, the rotation, Kenta Maeda, Jose Chacin, Michael Lorenzen, Daniel Wright, Jacob Lugo. Yeah, we'll see about that AL West, man. It's a curious division. Braves projected to win 101 games, but also projected to be the best team in baseball. They have a very strong team. Zimmerman, Hayward, Olsen, Wright in that lineup have been so strong for them. Turdoslavich as well. Turdoslavich has had some absolutely huge seasons for the Atlanta Braves, and they do have good pitching. Wood, Minor, and Bevan all really good. McAllister and Rob Whalen to sort of round out the back of that rotation. So that's the Atlanta Braves. Chicago Cubs projected to at least tie for the lead in the NL Central at the moment. They have Vogelbach, of course. He's definitely their star player. Now that Rizzo has left, they also have a 39-year-old C.J. Wilson as their ace. C.J. Wilson has had a really interesting career throughout this save. Just here's sort of the journey he's been on. I feel like he's played in the playoffs a lot. Cardinals also projected 86 wins. They won 110 games and the World Series 2 seasons ago now. They have Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge is a good player in this sim, although maybe not like a superstar. They also add Gary Sanchez over the offseason. He's been really good for them. Pablo Sandoval still going. Looks like he had a pretty solid season last year in Boston. Matt Adams is definitely the star. We should check in on Matt Holliday because he had been so good for them for so long. Did he change teams? He retired. Okay, wow, Matt Holliday. It looks like he could have kept going, honestly. I mean, he still had a good season in his age 39 season, but he calls it quits. Nearly 2,700 hits, 400 homers, 146 OPS plus, 77 WAR. This guy was an absolute beast for St. Louis all throughout the simulation. Also a World Series champion in 2018. So great career for Matt Holliday. In my opinion, a Hall of Fame career. And then the Dodgers projected to win the West. The NL West, that is. Brian Reynolds has turned into a really solid player for them. They picked him up in that first-year player draft. Corey Seager's definitely their star. There was a point where Corey Seager was like a 5-star potential guy. Looks like the talent change randomness and some injury history has hit him a bit, but he's still a very good player. Dominic Brown, this will be his second year with them, and he hit 52 home runs last year, and just in general, over the last 4 years or so, has been one of the better hitters in the big leagues. And of course, Kershaw, Matt Harvey, Chad Billingsley, Matthew Bowman, Alex Cobb. This is definitely one of the better rotations in baseball right now, although Kershaw is doing a lot of work there. So yeah, there's your look around the league. Here's your projected top players, trying to see if there's any names here that surprise me. Albert Pujols, this will be his age of 40 season, and he had a really nice 2019 in Washington. Now he's on the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm trying to see if any names surprise me here that I'd really like to talk about. Not really. I am still fascinated by this Taylor Lindsay character, someone who can play second base and who hit 50 home runs last year. Just a type of player who hasn't really existed in MLB history. So there you go. Those are your preseason predictions, and now we're ready to get these first couple months of the season out of the way. First couple months of the season in the books. Some really tight division races we can talk about here. Each team has played about 50 games. It's May 31st, 2020. Rays do lead the AL East, which I believe was projected. Evan Longoria is still going pretty strong for those Rays. He's having a really kind of renaissance type of year. 146 OPS plus. If that held, that would be his highest since 2013. May I remind you, it is 2020. Tyler Epler, their 27-year-old ace, is having a phenomenal start to the season. His ERA is below 2. That's a look at the Tampa Bay Rays. The Blue Jays, defending champs, are also up there. They're only one game behind. Stephen Kwan, their leadoff hitter, with a .437 on-base percentage. I edited him, but yeah, he's going to be a good batting average OBP guy in the majors. That's what I really hope for him. Let's see here. Minnesota Twins. They currently lead the Central, but the Tigers are close. The Tigers were, in my opinion, the winners of the offseason. This is still just a very solid Minnesota Twins team. Their offense has not been the best this year, but it has potential to be better than this. Miguel Sano is definitely their star hitter. Alex Rios, in his age 39 season, having a very good year. It looks like here's his career stats. He's still going at the age of 39. He won some Gold Gloves earlier in this simulation, 2012, 2013. That feels like ancient history. Leak, Tanaka, Hughes, Perez, Hancock. But yeah, that's the Minnesota Twins. But I still think the Tigers are my pick to win this division. Mookie Betts is having another really good year. He's had a really good career throughout the simulation, even though we haven't quite seen the highest of highs from him. He hasn't had a mega season. Josh Donaldson DHing now because Arenado is their third baseman, so you'd rather have Arenado play the field. Cargo's their cleanup hitter. And Jared Parker, their ace, and someone whose career we've been following with great interest throughout this, having a good start to the season. He's a 3-time All-Star. So that's a look at the Detroit Tigers. We should check in here with the West because the Astros and the Angels are super close. They've been covered a lot recently. They've been the two best teams in the West for a while. Juan Soto is having a pretty good rookie year overall, I would have to say, on pace for a 4-WAR season. Chris Bryant's also having what is potentially going to be a career year for him. His best year, I think, probably still remains that 2013, his rookie year when he was 21, but he had some down years, and now he's having what looks like could be a very, 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 very good year. Astros pitching, not the best. They're 12th in runs against in the American League. Let's see here. Los Angeles Angels. These guys have been so strong in the regular season lately. They've had, 100-win seasons. They're not on pace for that at the moment, but they still have a really good team. Mike Trout going absolutely nuts, as he is known to do. Drew Smyly looks like a very, very good pitcher for them, but the pitching beyond that, definitely questionable. They're 13th in runs against in the American League. And we should talk about the Rangers as well, because they are well within striking distance. This guy, Christian Friedrich, has a 2.42 ERA through 10 games started. That is big time for sure. Their lineup is not the craziest to me, but they might just have what it takes to make things work. Here's Ryan Braun's career stats for those of you interested. This is his second year with the Texas Rangers. His contract, he has a contract for 2021 as well. If he plays 135 games, that'll vest. But yeah, there you go. They also have George Springer, but George Springer is not the George Springer we know and love. He's more like an average or even like a role player in this simulation. Marlins lead the NL East. They're a 30-win team at the moment. Jose Fernandez having another really good year. But some down years here for Yelich and Freddie Freeman and even Brandon Downs. Real Muto even having a down year. So it's really, Fernandez has been really good, and this bullpen has been absolutely incredible. That's what's keeping them atop of the division. This guy, Felix Bautista, looks like he could be on his way to a reliever of the year. 1.30 ERA, on pace for 41 saves. There have been some strong relief performances so far, I must say. Jordan Hillier, 1.25 ERA. Darlin Diaz, which is an awesome name, 1.80 ERA. This is the best bullpen in baseball so far. Cubs lead the Central. Way to go, Chicago Cubs. They are the leaders in the NL Central currently. Pirates do occupy a wild card spot. We love the Pirates and their young pitching. Their young pitching is definitely doing its thing. And you know what? Their offense is probably the best we've seen in a few years. Josh Bell, absolutely massive start to the season. He's slugging well over 700, although he's only played about 20 or so games. Andrew McCutchen's having a very, 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 very good year. Could be a career year for Andrew McCutchen. So I am really liking this Pirates team. I do want to check out Daniel Vogelbach, though, because he's having a phenomenal year. He's a 5-star player, of course. Now that Rizzo has been gone for a couple years, he has the full playing time. CJ Wilson, Tyler Anderson, and Nick Sawyer also doing well in that rotation. And Tarek Skubal, he's a contender for reliever of the year as well. 1.26 ERA, on pace for 52 saves. Goodness gracious. And here are your Arizona Diamondbacks. Best record in baseball at the moment, 36-15. They've been a very, very good team throughout this simulation. I think when they started to fall off just a little bit, adding Rendon was a big help. Rendon's having a good year for them. He's been a second baseman throughout this simulation for the most part. Jake Lamb was an all-star in 2019, so they have some new talent finally emerging. Matt Wieters plays for them. He's played for them the past few years now. He's like a pretty average catcher, I would say, but his defense, kind of brings him up to above average. They're actually first in runs scored right now in the National League, and they have a great rotation at the moment. John Neese, who's been so instrumental for them throughout this, acquired from the Mets via trade, and the Mets got A.J. Pollock and Patrick Corbin, who had good careers with them. Wade Miley, Jeff Samardzija, Trevor Bauer, and Shohei Ohtani is in the rotation. He's only started one game so far, but he has a 3.78 ERA in 16 innings. And he's also hitting very well with a OPS nearly 1,000. So this is really your first glimpse at Ohtani, who's on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and a really great bullpen as well. If we've seen, is it the Marlins that have the crazy bullpen? Yeah, if the Marlins have the best bullpen, this is definitely the second best bullpen. Not the Baltimore Orioles, that is. Not the Baltimore Orioles, but the Arizona Diamondbacks have the second best bullpen in baseball. Here's just a look at that. Zach Gallen has been huge for them. He's a possible contender for reliever of the year as well. 1.50 ERA. Really good bullpen. Matt Strahm, he's on pace for 35 saves. That's just your look around the league. Yep, those are your standings right there, and we can look at the current stat leaders. So here are your stat leaders among qualified players. Andrew McCutchen has the best batting average. He's hitting .377 through these first 50 or 7 games. So fun to see Andrew McCutchen have a great season. He had that 2012, which was really, really excellent, but he hasn't just quite had the monster season since then. 2016, the closest thing to that. His ratings have always been high, so it's good to see him have just a big season. Giancarlo has 23 homers. He's tied with Voit, and they're both on the Baltimore Orioles. This is Giancarlo's second year with the Orioles. Giancarlo, by the way, he's 30 years old, and he's up to 373 career homers. He's been very healthy throughout this simulation. Trout leads on base percentage. Austin Meadows leads slugging. I feel like we haven't said Austin Meadows' name once, but he was selected all the way back in the 2012 first-year player draft, a second-round pick. Here he is at age 25, just having what appears to be an absolute breakout season in Major League Baseball. Hopefully he can keep it up, become an all-star for the Mets, all that good stuff. But this has been a huge season for him so far. Trout leads OPS, followed by Meadows, Vogelbach, Stanton, Chris Bryant, and Wander Franco. Wander Franco's had a huge year. He's second in WAR to Trout. He is definitely a big-time player in this league, on pace for a 10-WAR season on those Kansas City Royals, who are not good. They have Byron Buxton, too. We kind of lost track of Byron Buxton there, but he is up in the majors, and he's been a league average hitter so far this year. So way to go, Byron Buxton, but especially way to go, Wander Franco. Eugenio Suarez and Kyle Tucker are tied for the lead in stolen bases. Very interesting, but Suarez has a fractured foot. But look at Suarez and his base stealing stats. Bit surprised by that. All right, pitching leaders around the league at the moment. Wade Miley has the best ERA, followed by Tyler Epler. We covered them. Matt Bowman, looking really good for those Dodgers. We like that Dodgers rotation overall. Gio Gonzalez, John Neese, and Christian Friedrich. Not a lot of familiar names here yet, but maybe there will be familiar names here at the All-Star break. Jack Flaherty leads WAR and strikeouts, and he leads strikeouts by a very significant margin. He's on pace for 333 strikeouts. Oh my gosh, Jack Flaherty. He's just mowing them down, so way to go, man. He's a defending World Series champion, of course. Wade Miley leads R-WAR, and Scott Blewett and Tarek Skubal are tied for saves with 16 apiece. Blewett is the closer for the Texas Rangers, who are definitely in playoff contention. But yep, there you go. Those are your statistical leaders. I will catch up with you guys at the All-Star break. All right, we're here at the All-Star break, and this is typically when we do just like sort of an injury check-in around the league. Chris Sale has a minor one. It's just a sprained ankle. This guy, Ryan Castellanos, who I have not covered yet throughout this simulation, but he's been a fairly important pitcher, it looks like, for the Colorado Rockies, a real mainstay in their rotation. He has very nice ratings at the moment. Looks like a pitcher could be very, very good for them. And he was having a good year, 109 ERA plus. Remember, he's playing in Coors. Unfortunately, forearm inflammation for him. Recovery time on that is actually uncertain, so I don't really know how long that could possibly last. But Jeremy Hefner, he's got a big one, elbow ligament reconstruction surgery. This happened in early June, and he was having his best season in pinstripes so far before that, to the tune of a 3.40 ERA. Before he was a New York Yankee, he was a New York Met, and he was just absolutely phenomenal for the Mets. He had 4 straight years where his ERA was below 3. He was so good. He's a 3-time All-Star as well. So Jeremy Hefner injured. He's the Mets pitching coach in real life. By the way, German Marquez, who I mentioned, I think on opening day, he suffered a torn UCL around them, so he hasn't really pitched this year. His season is done. Really unfortunate because he was just an absolute star last year in 2019. Struck out 262 batters, had an ERA below 3, was one of the best pitchers in the National League. He's a great young pitcher. So sorry for German Marquez. And then Steven Strasburg, the former Washington National, now on the Philadelphia Phillies. By the way, here's his career stats if you're interested. Torn labrum in his shoulder, also suffered in April, also just kind of a season ender. He hasn't had a major injury like beyond that. I mean, obviously he has like, I think the Tommy John was baked in before the simulation started. But yeah, throughout this simulation, that's definitely the major injury for Steven Strasburg. I think it's the only one, if I'm crazy. Like, oh no, right, here we go. He also had this injury in 2016. I felt like there was something else that happened to him. So that's Steven Strasburg. He's been a good yet injury-prone career that has kind of reflected his real-life career. Mookie Betts has an intercostal strain. It's only like a 2 or 3 week injury, but I just thought it was worth bringing up because he was having such a good year, and unfortunately he won't be able to play in the All-Star game this year. But if he comes back and doesn't miss too much time, he could be an MVP candidate in that American League. He's on pace for 48 homers, which this guy, earlier in his career, we were waiting for his power to develop. He just was not a power guy early in his career. Look at his first 4 seasons. He hit, let's see here, 19. He hit 28 homers combined in his first 4 seasons. Now he has 29 homers in 91 games, and that's with Detroit playing in a pretty big ballpark. So there you go. That's the injury update around the league. Rendon, it's very minor. It's just a strained groin. He's having a good season for Arizona. So there you go. Let's check in with the standings at the All-Star break. The Toronto Blue Jays absolutely caught fire in June. They have 60 wins, which is the best record in the American League. They currently lead the American League East over the Boston Red Sox. They went 20-6 in June. What a great June for them. Jack Flaherty, Drew Pomeranz really holding it down in the rotation. They are 7th in runs scored, so they're a pretty average offense. This guy, Dwight Smith, is done very, very well for them this year. 159 OPS plus, nearly 1,000 OPS. And Leblevjian, he's on pace for a 6-WAR season, but I mean, he's not anywhere near the numbers he was putting up the year he won the batting title offensively, but he's a great defender at second base too, so that's really helping them out. Red Sox are second. They're 57-41 and occupying a wild card spot. So are the Baltimore Orioles, so this is a very strong division at the moment. Votto's having a very good year. He has a .415 on base percentage. Albies having a great year, career year for Ozzy Albies. Michael Conforto's having a good year. And that may be an understatement. He's having a crazy year. He's on pace for 61 home runs. Goodness gracious, Conforto. Hunter Dozier, who was acquired, signed in free agency from the New York Yankees. He looks really, really strong as well. Hunter Dozier has just been an absolute, I would dare say, superstar in this simulation. I mean, he has been so good. Was with the Yankees, now with the Red Sox. Red Sox look like a strong team overall, I must say. And then here are the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton has 42 home runs. He's on pace for 69. Like, there is that chance that we see 70 homers or even 73 homers fall before this simulation is over. Luke Voigt hit 58 homers last year. He's on pace for 63. You remember Matt Adams hit 62 homers last year in the full season. Houston Astros and Los Angeles Angels. Astros currently lead the West by 5 games, which is maybe the biggest lead I've seen them have in the division so far. Juan Soto has slowed down a bit. He's more like a league average hitter at the moment. Carlos Correa has, really good season for Carlos Correa so far. I'm a little bit surprised. I'm just looking up here and I can see it. I'm a little surprised he's not an all-star. Aaron Nola's having a good year for them. He's kind of had an up and down career, but these last couple years have been very strong for Houston. He's been a good pitcher for them. James Paxton, looks like injury has affected. James Paxton tore his UCL last year, so he's just now back from that. His ratings have gone down quite a bit, but he was the ace of that Houston rotation for a bit. A couple years there, he's a really strong pitcher. Angels are second. Of course, they have a fella by the name of Mike Trout, so that's good. But this doesn't appear to be a team as strong as the Angels team last year. Miami Marlins have a strong 9.5 game lead in the NL East. I'm sure a lot of people are rooting this team on. Jose Fernandez is having a great year for the Miami Marlins. Cavanario, who's been such a great young pitcher for them, not having a good year. His ERA at the moment is 6. But of course, they have that great bullpen, and looks like Brandon Downs is heating back up for them. He was not doing particularly well through those first 50 games of the season. Healy has been very, very good for them, and then Freddie Freeman appears to be heating up as well. So this offense is starting to come alive, and they're starting to get some distance in the NL East. Cubs lead the Central by 8.5 games. They just appear to be a pretty strong team at the moment. They're only 13th in runs scored in the National League, though. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but they do have very good pitching. Tarik Skubal now in the rotation. His ERA is 1, so Tarik Skubal coming on very, very strong. No one can strike him out like Tarik Skubal. He has 108 strikeouts in 58 innings. He's just an absolute freak of nature. Tyler Anderson also doing well for them. This guy, Nick Sawyer, who we saw having a good start to the season, elbow ligament reconstruction surgery, so he's not going to factor in for them for the rest of the year. That's kind of a sad thing to see. But Cubs in control of the Central, and it's the Diamondbacks in control of the West. They're 65-32. This is a really good team. Johan Camargo, of all people, having a good season for them. This is only through 40 games so far, but his OPS plus is 154. Here's Ohtani's stats at the moment. Looks to be doing very well as both a pitcher and hitter. Used mostly as a reliever, but he's a great reliever and a good first baseman for them as well. So Ohtani's having a fun, sort of realistic two-way season. Not like, well, I would say realistic. It's not 2021 Ohtani, but it is a fun two-way Ohtani to witness for sure. John Neese, Wade Miley, Trevor Bauer, Tyler Skaggs in that rotation. He's been the closer for them at times. Now he's been in the rotation these last few years. There's Tyler Skaggs for those of you interested, and Shohei Ohtani. Looks like he's been used as like a kind of a swing man almost to describe it. Like he could be the fifth starter. He can throw out of the bullpen as well. Zach Gallen could be a guy they could also throw in the rotation if need be, but he's been so dominant in the bullpen for them. Now they're closer. So there you go. That's your standings, and now we can check in with the All-Star Game rosters. All-Star Game rosters are here. Looks like Matt Latos is going to get the start for the Boston Red Sox. He's been really, really good for them these past couple of years. In 2019, he led the American League in wins, innings pitched, and F-WAR. Did not win the Cy Young Award, but he's been very, very good for Boston. He was also very, very good for the Cincinnati Reds. So he's just had a really good career throughout this, been a very consistently good player, and he gets an All-Star start. This is his third All-Star game, first since 2017. Here are his career stats. He has a career 3.16 ERA, up to 54 F4, and he's still relatively young. He's like 32, so way to go. Josh Hader makes an All-Star game. He's been a starter in this simulation, and one of those in a long line of just crazy stuff, but he doesn't have the movement, he doesn't have the control, but he just strikes everyone out, and he has a 2.48 ERA, has been splitting time. He has 12 appearances as a starting pitcher and 16 out of the bullpen, but he is going to represent the Baltimore Orioles at the All-Star game. New face here, Rakelson Pena, a 26-year-old starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's also an All-Star with a 3.31 ERA. So there you go. Those are your starting pitcher All-Stars. Nola's there. Darvish is there. Tyler Epler's there. Jack Flaherty's there. Jack Flaherty has finally turned into a really good pitcher in the simulation. We were kind of waiting on him to do that. Here are your relief pitchers. This guy, Luis Amaya, is just absolutely insane. 100 stuff on the 20 to 80 scale. I think only Craig Kimbrell is someone who we've seen pull that off throughout the simulation. This guy, Cable Hogbin, also of Toronto, with an ERA below 2. He's an all-star. Jason Castro is going to get the start, and Jason Castro is having a phenomenal year for Seattle Mariners. This is Castro's first all-star game since 2017, also made one in 2016. 150 OPS plus at the all-star break, and getting the start. Wyatt Matheson of New York Yankees. He's the Gary Sanchez replacement, I suppose, and he's an all-star. He hasn't had a crazy season, but maybe the crop of catchers is fairly weak in the American League. And Wilson Ramos is an all-star. Ahmed Rosario is an all-star. Is this his first all-star game? Yes, it is. He's been playing mostly second base for the White Sox, so he's listed as a first baseman on the rosters. Voigt's an all-star. That's obvious. Votto's an all-star. He's been great this year. Albies is an all-star. This is his first all-star game. Mookie Betts, his former teammate's an all-star. Potentially an MVP candidate, but, injuries, so he can't play. Jose Ramirez is an all-star. He's now a back-to-back all-star. Hasn't put together a massive season in the majors yet. Doesn't appear to be like the superstar Jose Ramirez is in real life. Kind of same story with Lindor, but still like a quality player in the majors. Jonathan Villar. We've seen Jonathan Villar have some good years, but this may be his best year so far. He's an all-star representing the Houston Astros. Chris Bryant is suspended, but he can play in this game, I believe. Hunter Dozier, absolutely massive. We've talked about him. Longoria, renaissance year for him. Mike Moustakas, he's been like great every year, perennial all-star like the last 5 or so years. Miguel Sano, he's very good. Bo Bichette makes an all-star game. This is his first all-star game. He's also 2019 MLB champion, because you can't forget about those Blue Jays. But Bo Bichette on pace for 8.6 WAR. In this universe, Bo Bichette is like maybe a good hitter, but really he's all about that defense. He's like a glove-first kind of guy, which is fascinating to see. Wander Franco's an all-star. He could be an MVP candidate by the end of the year. Let's see here. Luis Gonzalez of the Detroit Tigers is an all-star. Not that Luis Gonzalez of like Arizona Diamondbacks fame, but there is a guy named Luis Gonzalez who's playing in organized baseball. Michael Conforto, he's having a huge year. We're talking about him as potential, just like 60 home run guy. Dwight Smith, Giancarlo Stanton's a potential 70 home run. He has 42. Jay Bruce is an all-star. Dwight Smith's an all-star, and Mike Trout is an all-star. Here's Trout's numbers. If it holds like this, it'll actually be one of his weaker years in recent memory. So it's possible that, his 5 straight AL MVP trend could come to an end. But if that is the case, absolutely historic. That's something that probably be never repeated. Matthew Bowman's an all-star. We really like that Dodgers rotation, don't we, folks? Clayton Kershaw's there, Matt Bowman's there. They have great ERAs. Harvey's been good enough. Billingsley's been good. Yeah, this is a good rotation, definitely above average rotation for the Dodgers. Looks like it's going to be Walker Buehler of the Pittsburgh Pirates who gets the start. He has turned into an absolute stud pitcher. This could be his 3rd straight season with an ERA below 3. Bumgarner's an all-star. Good to see Bumgarner doing well. He's had a really nice career throughout this simulation. I think he could be a guy, given that he's only 30, he adds to the counting stats. He could win, or he could be a Hall of Famer. Like he has a 2014 Cy Young Award and also has a ring with those St. Louis Cardinals. Jose Fernandez, an all-star. Gio Gonzalez, an all-star. Kershaw, Wade Miley. Not too many surprising names here. Sal Romano is an all-star for the Cincinnati Reds. He has a 2.89 ERA, so maybe that's the more surprising name among the pitchers. Skubal's an all-star. That's not surprising given his numbers. Here are your reliever all-stars. There's not a lot of them in the National League. Skubal may come out of the pen, I would have to imagine, but I think this means he's like the top vote getter among relievers, even though he's listed as a starting pitcher because he's in the rotation right now. Felix Bautista, who we talked about in Miami, is an all-star. Catchers Narvaez, Posey, and Gary Sanchez. Strong catching crew, but no JT Realmuto to be seen. Curious. Abreu, Matt Adams, Matt Olson, Daniel Vogelbach are your first base all-stars. In the infield, you have guys like Gurriel Jr., who's turned into a stud player. Rendon's not going to play in this game because of strained groin, but he's really heated up. He's up to a 151 OPS plus on the season. Trevor Story, Bregman, Ryan Healy. Manny Machado's an all-star. This is actually his 2nd all-star game. He made the all-star game in 2015, but he's having a career year with the LA Dodgers. Remember, he is not, ratings-wise, the Manny Machado we all know and love. Actually, the closest player to that, probably Brett Laurie, who is not an all-star this year. Jonathan Scope's an all-star. Corey Seager, Fernando Tatis Jr. is an all-star, having a season that
Maybe not quite as good as his rookie year, to be honest with you, but still all-star caliber. Chris Davis is a player we've been excited by at times. He's on pace for a 50 home run season, which would be his best season in quite some time. He had a really, really good season in 2013, and we were really excited after that. Since then, he's been, it's not like he's been terrible, but we kind of thought he was going to go into stardom, but he's an all-star. Austin Meadows, talked about him, was leading the league in slugging through the first couple months of the season. Jason Hayward, he's like an all-star every year. Jock Peterson, he's like a guy who's like been an all-star almost every year. This is his fourth all-star game in 5 years. Josh Bell, a huge breakout for him. Mitch Haniger had just a breakout in 2018, was also brilliant in 2019, and 2020 he's an all-star again, so way to go, Mitch Haniger. And finally, Brian Reynolds. This is Brian Reynolds' first all-star game. He's been a very productive player so far for the Dodgers, but now he's finally having an all-star season. So those are your all-star rosters, and finally we can check in with the statistical leaders around the league at the all-star break. So now Austin Meadows leads batting average. He was previously leading slugging. He's actually second in slugging to Stanton right now. Stanton also leads OPS, but oh boy, Matt Adams leads home runs, so we really could see 70 home runs this year. He's on pace for 75 home runs. Imagine if, at the end of this universe, Matt Adams is the single-season home run champion. It's absolutely insane to imagine, but it could happen. That talent change randomness can really make some fun stuff happen. Mike Trout leads WAR, which, he kind of always does. But Wander Franco not too far behind. Mookie Betts not too far behind. Stanton not too. These are all American League guys, by the way. All these American League guys have at least 5 WAR. That's crazy. So that's going to be a really interesting MVP race, especially if you have someone like Stanton hitting 70 home runs, but maybe Trout gets more WAR, but maybe Wander Franco is like the most balanced. That could be really fun to watch. David Dahl leads stolen bases. He's playing for Colorado. And Dwight Smith, of all people, with a .436 on-base percentage. He's had a crazy good year. He was really good in 2019, too, and I thought, okay, Dwight Smith, solid player. But now this is like a stardom type of year. Stephen Kwan of the Toronto Blue Jays is second in on-base percentage. I edited him to be this good. This is on me, guys, but I just love the guy to death. Can't wait to see what he does for Cleveland this year. Here we go. Pitching leaders. Matt Bowman has the best ERA. Matt Latos, Kershaw, Miley, Buehler, Jose Fernandez. Now we're starting to see some more familiar names, like Kershaw and Buehler and Jose Fernandez. Really awesome to see guys like that having a good season. Clayton Kershaw leads F4. He also leads innings pitched. Jack Flaherty leads strikeouts with 182. He's on pace for 310, so he slowed down a little bit on those strikeouts, but still doing really well. Felix Bautista leads saves. I want to check out Ryu here because, Ryu for so long was like the sole good pitcher in Colorado, and that Castellanos injury made me think of him. Looks like he hasn't had a particularly good season since like 2017, it looks like. But still a good major league career. An ERA under 4, and he's played in Colorado the entire time. Pretty impressive stuff from Hyunjin Ryu, but it looks like his career is on the downswing. He's 33 years old. Let's see here. Latos leads ERA plus with a 2.22. That's what you get for playing in Boston. So even though Bowman leads ERA, it's Latos with the best ERA plus. Bautista leads saves, but actually 3 guys tied in saves. Tarek Skubal's been amazing. Felix Bautista's been amazing. And here's Yordany Santana, who was on pace for 39 saves, but the ERA not as good as that of Skubal and Bautista, I must say. Kelvin Herrera also up there. He's been a great reliever throughout this simulation. So there you go. Those are your statistical leaders. I will see you guys at the trade deadline. Here are some trades that have gone down during the 2020 season now that we're past the trade deadline. I'll start with one that actually happened in early June. So the Blue Jays acquired Drew Pomeranz in an attempt to bolster their rotation. I think it's worked out really well for them. He started 10 games for them to the tune of a 3.36 ERA and a 7-3 win-loss record. So they are winning games that he pitches in. In return, they sent some prospects, the main one being this closing pitching prospect. He is now in the Colorado Rockies system. They also sent Matt Vierling, who's a player that I like a lot in real life and kind of feel like 2022. Be interested to see what he does with the Phillies in real life, but that's real life. Anyways, Drew Pomeranz joins the Blue Jays. He's currently their number 2 starter, so I think a good acquisition for Toronto there as they try to repeat as World Series champions. Here's a deal between the Boston Red Sox and San Francisco Giants. Basically, the Boston Red Sox go out and get Aaron Hicks to play center field for them. He was not playing well with San Francisco, not hitting well at all. He was Mathesing, in fact, with his 60 OPS plus. Now he's been more average and looks like he could be a solid piece for Boston. He's on the last year of his deal. They also went out and acquired Starlin Castro, who's currently DHing for them, but he could play shortstop for them if they want. They could, move Xander Bogaerts around. Xander Bogaerts, by the way, was the 2014 AL Rookie of the Year, and but overall, I mean, really since 2015, like just not a great hitter, but actually kind of like in like Bo Bichette mode where it's kind of reversed because I mean. He's an elite defender in this game. He's just like a crazy glove guy. That's a look at him. Here's also a look at Ronald Acuna, who's having a very poor year for Boston. He has not been a superstar by any means in this simulation, but I feel like he has had maybe like a good year. I guess the closest thing to that would actually be 2018 when he was a 3-WAR player. Again, mostly for his defense in center field. He hasn't had an above-average hitting year yet, but let's look at the Boston Red Sox. They're an interesting team. And last deal I'll mention here is Eric Thames joining the Chicago Cubs. So the Cubs, they're on the hunt in the playoffs. They're the first-place team in the Central, and they acquire Eric Thames from the Cincinnati Reds. Thames has sort of bounced around the league since leaving Toronto, but overall I would say has put up some good seasons. So far just kind of he's only played like 6 games for Chicago, but we'll just have to see what happens with that. Is he their starting left fielder at the moment? Yes, he is, and he's batting second. So just a couple trades there. Not the most interesting, but yep, that's the trade deadline. Here's a glance at the standings. Not much movement as far as that goes. I think maybe the biggest thing is that the Twins have opened up a slightly larger lead over the Tigers, I think. Not entirely sure, but yep, that's a look at the standings. And next time I'll see you guys, it'll be the last day of the regular season. Last day of the regular season, 2020. The playoff picture is mostly set, but the biggest decision here is between the Atlanta Braves and the Miami Marlins. They are in a fight for that NL East division. They have the exact same record through 161 games. The Braves will face the Phillies and Williams Perez, who is a former Atlanta Brave, for Game 162. The Marlins will face the Mets with Joey Lucchesi on the mound. The Cardinals are also in the hunt because although the Cubs have clinched the NL Central, if they win, they could face like the loser here in the NL East, like sort of the odd team out. If that team, like, you know what I mean? They're in the hunt for a second wild card spot. So these 3 teams are basically fighting for 2 playoff spots. One of them, the championship of the NL East, one of them, the second wild card. So let's check in with these teams. The Toronto Blue Jays won 100 games. They did much better as defending champions than the Cardinals did the previous year, I must say. Stephen Kwan finished with a 400 on-base percentage, so he fell back to earth a bit, but it was still a 4-WAR season. Leblebjian, his bat started to heat up. He had a 130 OPS plus. Matt Kemp, another solid year for them, but I think that Drew Pomeranz acquisition definitely a difference maker for them. He does have a day-to-day injury, though, so that'll be something to monitor. And Jack Flaherty, great year for them. Almost strikes out 300 hitters. He struck out 293, 6.8 WAR, 3.60 ERA. He had a great year. Way to go, Jack Flaherty. Twins win the Central. Tigers do not qualify for the playoffs. I was really excited about the Tigers. Didn't happen for them. Miguel Sano, very, very good year. 7-WAR year, hit 39 home runs. This guy, I just don't know how to say his first name, even though I've seen him, pitch before in real life. But Perez, 2.70 ERA in 183 innings pitched. Leak and Tanaka, just good enough. Phil Hughes, 3.82 ERA. But yeah, that's the Minnesota Twins. Pretty good rotation overall, I would have to say, for them. Houston Astros win the West. The Rangers will not be going to the postseason. Neither will the Angels. So unfortunate there, the Angels' playoff streak ends. The Houston Astros win the AL West. They've won 89 games so far. Here's Juan Soto's final season stats. Very solid first season. I mean, he's only 21. Chris Bryant had a good year. He was off to a very hot start. Carlos Correa hit 45 home runs. He had a 7-WAR season. That was a career year. Eric Castro, this is a lot of fun, hit 199. He still has 1 more game left, so he could get over 200, but he's hit 47 home runs. Very interesting character. James Paxton, upon return from that massive injury he had in 15 games started, had a 2.62 ERA. I was the guy who was saying, hey, maybe he's going to be a little bit washed because his ratings have gone down. Doesn't seem to be the case. Lance McCullers Jr. is also here, even though he didn't have the best of years. This was his first year as a full-time starter. We'd seen him among the top prospect rankings. If that control rating can just develop, he'll be one of the top pitchers in the league, but he is 27. Frank Schwindel's playing catcher. That's kind of fun. He's not hitting particularly well, though. But that's just a look at the Houston Astros. And obviously, VR had a huge year, 6-4 year for him. He's a very injury-prone player, though I noticed that he is wrecked in terms of the injuries. So in the American League, these two teams in the East, the Orioles and the Red Sox, do get wild card spots. I think they really could make noise in the postseason, both of them. Votto had a .422 on-base percentage. Albies had a great year. Conforto had a great year. Hunter Dozier is just a superstar in this. I mean, this might have been the best year of Hunter Dozier's career for all I know. I mean, a 162 OPS plus, how does that compare? That's the best of his career. So way to go, Hunter Dozier. Matt Latos could be Cy Young candidate. Great year for him. Chris Archer had a phenomenal year. 3.33 ERA and 192 innings pitched. That's a look at the Red Sox. With the Orioles, it's all about just the power hitting. I mean, Luke Voit hit 59 home runs. Let's see here. Where's Stanton? Stanton out 2 weeks, so he could miss the early stages of the postseason. He had a bicep strain that he suffered in September, so he's really missed the last month or so of the season. So this is more of like a 6-week injury total. That's really unfortunate because he had 53 homers through 130 games at the time. I mean, it could have been an MVP season for him. It's not going to be that, but still a really good year for Giancarlo. He only played 101 games last year, too, so I think I talked about his health earlier in this episode. That may be a little bit more questionable now. Ryan Thompson's a great closer for them, by the way. 2.26 ERA and 35 saves. That's the Orioles. They're in the postseason. Fun to see because I feel like they haven't been in the postseason much. Cubs win the Central. Fun Cubs team. Daniel Vogelbach, 42 home runs, OPS 949. Eric Thames, who they traded for, actually did really well down the stretch for them. That was a very nice acquisition by them. CJ Wilson, the 39-year-old ace, had a great season. 3.50 ERA in 27 starts. Tyler Anderson also had a good year. Fulte had a good year for them as well with an ERA below 4. Interesting Cubs team. It's an interesting team, I'll put it that way. Shame about these Pirates. I do like these Pirates, but they finished below 500. We're talking about this maybe being the best offense they'd put together in a while, but it just didn't really work out that way. McCutchen really slowed down in the second half. Josh Bell's hurt. Shame they couldn't really get, because their pitching is so nice with it. You know, they have such nice pitching. But yeah, Cardinals in contention for that second wild card spot. They're a good team. Matt Adams, by the way, 64 home runs. 64 home runs. Goodness gracious, Matt Adams. I mean, he could hit like 65 or 66 because they still have, maybe 1 or even 2 more games left to play. But that's the Cardinals. Madison Bumgarner had a great year. I think he'll be a Cy Young candidate in the National League. And yeah, there you go. Dodgers are in as a wild card team. Kershaw, he may be the man to beat as far as Cy Young Award goes. Had another great year, close to 10 FWAR. Dominic Brown hit 50 home runs. I mean, Phillies fans, can you believe how good Dominic Brown has been in this simulation? Look at these last few years for him. I mean, so good, so good. Now on the Los Angeles Dodgers, he was also great with the Baltimore Orioles. Jock Peterson had another great year. Brian Reynolds had a career year. Wow, close to 1,000 OPS for Brian Reynolds, who I thought was just like going to be like a good player for them. His talent change randomness has hit hard. Like, he's now one of the top players in the league. So way to go, Brian Reynolds. Seager and Machado up at the top of the line. This is a good Dodgers team. You got to watch out for them in the postseason. Diamondbacks with 101 wins. Best team in the National League. I think, did they win more games? Yeah. Best team in the majors if the Blue Jays don't catch them. Trevor Bauer led them with strikeouts in 232. But this is just a really good rotation. Neese, Miley, Bauer, Zach Gallen, and Shohei Ohtani, the swingman, ended up starting 10 games for them. 18 appearances out of the bullpen, a 3.76 ERA and 79 innings pitched. Also as a hitter, 18 home runs in 345 plate appearances, 123 OPS plus. That is Shohei Ohtani. Will be fun to see him in the postseason for sure. Rendon had a good year, 5.5 WAR. Jonathan Scope had a good year, 4.4 WAR. Camargo, we talked about him. He had a nice year. This is a fun Diamondbacks team. Are they going to grab themselves another World Series? We'll just have to see. But let's see. Well, actually, you know what? Let's finish out the season, and then let's see the statistical leaders, because we still have this to decide here in the East, and these 3 down here fighting for that second wild card spot. So Braves, Marlins, they're not playing against each other, but they have game 162s. If one of them wins and one of them loses, that decides the division. Okay, so the Braves and Marlins both win. The Cardinals, I think, lost. Yeah, they lost to the Chicago Cubs 3-2. So they're out. So really, it just comes down to the Braves and Marlins now playing each other to decide the division. It is going to be Alex Wood versus Jose Fernandez. So it could be quite the pitching duel. So here you go. Winner takes the division. Loser will settle for Wild Card 2 in a tough matchup against a good Dodgers team. Let's see who wins the NL East in 2020. The Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves win this game. They win it by a score of 6-2. Really good performance from Alex Wood, who strikes out 10 and only allows 1 run. Sorry to Jose Fernandez, the losing pitcher in that. Looks like there was, in the bottom of the 6th, the Braves rallied for 3 runs, and that was really about it. So the Marlins will face the Dodgers in the wild card. Now we can check out the statistical leaders now that the season is complete. So here you go. Hunter Dozier is going to grab himself a batting title in his first year with the Boston Red Sox. I mentioned that they had a kind of incestuous relationship between the Yankees and the Red Sox. Votto has played for both. Hunter Dozier has played for both. Robinson Cano played for both. I believe Gary Sanchez is on the Red Sox now too. So there you go. They've done a lot of bouncing around. Trout finishes second. Looks like the National League batting title, you can't see it right here for now. These are all American League guys. The American League offense has been very good this year. Matt Adams leads home runs with 64. We talked about that, but the home run totals are just crazy overall. Voit hit 59, and then these guys, Moustakas, Stanton, Chris Davis, and Dominic Brown all hit 50. Moustakas leads runs batted in. Joey Votto gets himself another on-base percentage crown. That is the first time he's led his league in on-base percentage since 2016, back when he was a New York Yankee. Here's his career stats. He's a 3.45 guy at the moment, up to 70 F4, over 2,000 hits, over 300 home runs. Trout led WAR. He led WAR by 1.3. The next best in the American League was Wander Franco, and Brian Reynolds actually led the National League in WAR. So what a great breakout year for Brian Reynolds, who'd always been a good player, but now a truly great player. Oh, and looks like he bat 307, so it looks like he's going to grab that batting title in the National League. So, and it looks like, Trout, given his lead in WAR, may just be your MVP again, even though this wasn't necessarily the best year for Mike Trout by any means. So we'll have to see if he makes it, that would be like 6 in a row. It's unbelievable to think about. Matt Olson led OPS. Matt Olson had a great year, also hit 307, but I guess Brian Reynolds had him by some decimal points, 50 homers. He could be an MVP candidate as well, even though Reynolds with 1.5 more WAR than him. Wander Franco had a great year, 7.7 WAR, 142 OPS plus, 900 OPS. Dozier, Peterson, Sano, those are your WAR leaders. The stolen base leader, David Dahl, he stole 39 bases. And Christian Robinson up here in the majors. Looks like he had a solid rookie campaign that also featured 36 stolen bases and 27 home runs. Wonder if he could be up there in terms of the Rookie of the Year voting in the American League. Big fan of his in real life. Hope he can get sort of his career back on track. Clayton Kershaw, ERA crown for him. 10.2 F4. Yeah, he started, I think. He had one more start. But yeah, I think it's another Cy Young for Clayton Kershaw. We'll just have to see. I could be wrong on that, but we'll just have to see. Alex Wood had a great season. Bowman, his teammate in LA. Perez, the 24-year-old for the Minnesota Twins. He had the best ERA in the American League and also walked 126 guys. So just basically unhittable. He didn't know where it was going, but it worked. Wade Miley, Madison Bumgarner. It's a lead of about 2 F4 for Kershaw versus the rest of the field. Let's see about R-WAR. It's closer in R-WAR. Bumgarner definitely a candidate, but I feel like it's going to be Kershaw this year. I think he's got the best numbers. Flaherty led strikeouts with 293. And Yordani Santana had 40 saves, so not the best of ERAs for him. Kelvin Herrera had a better ERA. This guy, James Needy, had a better ERA. Let's check out Felix Bautista. He had a 2.58 ERA. He had a really good year. Could be up there for reliever of the year. This guy, Omarlin Lopez, even though he's not Omarlin, they should call him Oastro. He saved 33 games. Anyways, sorry about that. Those are your statistical leaders for the 2020 season. Let's see who comes out on top in the playoffs. Playoffs will kick off with the wild card round, Marlins versus Dodgers, Red Sox versus Orioles. If you ask me to make a prediction right now, I feel like the dark horse could be the Dodgers here. However, now that I just said that, they're probably going to lose to the Marlins. I feel like people are going to be rooting for like both of these teams. Whoever wins, I feel like people are going to root for this team definitely. So we'll just have to see. Okay, Marlins advance and Orioles advance. Sorry, Dodgers, I totally jinxed them. But Orioles win their wild card game. They'll face the defending champion Blue Jays. It's going to be Astros versus Twins here, Braves versus Cubs, Marlins versus Diamondbacks. It'd be a big surprise, I think, if the Twins went on a run here, because I'm not that impressed by them. I feel like they've had way more impressive teams in the past, but you never know. Sometimes the team you don't expect wins it. Astros take a 2-0 lead. They're split here. Cubs and Marlins win their game ones. Marlins win game two. Let's see here. They're split here and they're split here. 2-1 advantage for the Orioles, 2-1 advantage for the Astros at the moment. It's 2-0 for Miami, and it's still split between the Braves and the Cubs, so it's the National League's turn to play. So Braves win game 3. Diamondbacks win their game 3, and it's the Astros and Orioles to advance to face off each other in the ALCS. So all that's left is these National League series. Braves advance, Marlins advance. So your final 4 teams: Orioles, Astros, Braves, Marlins. The only team in the simulation so far left that has won a World Series is the Braves. We have a good run of unique teams winning, so we'll just have to see. The Braves also they also have won 2 pennants, so they've definitely been one of the best teams throughout this simulation. They have Micah Johnson leading off. He was acquired via trade from Toronto a couple off seasons ago. Looks like he had a slightly better year there than his previous. Ian Happ's been a good, solid, consistent player for them. Jason Hayward, he just has 7 WAR every year. He's awesome. Matt Olson, definitely maybe the star of the show this year, I'd have to say. I mean, he led the National League in OPS, led MLB in OPS. That's how good he was. Tradoslavich, the OBP king. 370 is still good, but kind of a down year for him. And Ryan Zimmerman, this is the first time he has really faltered in the simulation at all. He'd been so good for the Braves, but he's getting up there in age. He's 36 now. Let's see what his contract situation is. Yeah, this is his last year with the Braves, so his career could be coming to an end. We'll have to see. Alex Wood and Mike Minor, awesome. And they have Kyle Hendricks, who, despite not having the greatest of ratings, has a 3.58 ERA for them, and he's in the playoff rotation. Zach McAllister is not. This guy, Blake Beevan's been good for them in the past. I know his ERA is 5, but in 2019 it was much better. He was an all-star in 2017 for the Mariners. So that's the Braves. Miami Marlins, I'm sure everyone's rooting them on. Ryan Healy, 40-homer season. What a great season for him. Yelich picked it back up to put together a 4-WAR season. He was really struggling through those first 50 or so games. Real Muto put together to have maybe a league average season. David Fletcher hitting .310. He's their current starting shortstop, batting 8th. Brandon Downs, he got it back together. So their offense rallied because they were struggling early. Jose Fernandez, the ace of this rotation. Cavanario got it back together. I mean, his ERA was 6 at the All-Star break, and then so he managed to have a much better second half. Yeah, I like this Marlins team. We'll just have to see. Astros versus Orioles. Here's the Orioles. Of course, it's all about the power of Voit, the power of Yordan Alvarez, the power of Stanton, although uncertain return date for him, so he's still not back. This team hits a lot of home runs. Rafael Devers, also an extra base hit machine. He had 54 doubles this year. He's been a good player for them throughout this save, but the pitching in the rotation is, I would say, questionable. So, and here's the Houston Astros. Aaron Nola, and then James Paxton returning, I think, has been absolutely huge for them, and they've hit a lot of home runs this year. Correa, 45, Eric Castro, 47, Bryant, one of his better years, Soto, the young rookie. They're an interesting team. Jonathan Villar had a 30 home run year. That's how good a year he just had. I mean, goodness gracious, Villar. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so Astros win the first 2 games. Marlins win. It's a split series here, 1-1. Astros have won 3 in a row, so are they going to complete the sweep? Yes, they will. So the Astros sweep the Baltimore Orioles. They are going to the World Series in 2020. Meanwhile, it's Marlins versus Braves. Marlins holding a 2-1 advantage. Now it's a 3-1 advantage. 3-2. All right, here we go. So World Series is set. It's going to be the Houston Astros versus the Miami Marlins. All you Jose Fernandez fans, this is your chance. He's going to pitch in the World Series this year. Marlins have had some really, really good teams throughout this simulation, especially in recent years. Will this be the one? We'll just have to see. The Houston Astros stand in their way. All right, World Series. Marlins win Game 1. Astros win Game 2. Astros win Game 3, and they take a 2-1 lead. Ooh, Astros win Game 4, and now they're up 3-1. Oh boy, here we go. Elimination game already. Game 5. Houston Astros. Wow, look at that. The Houston Astros are World Series champions. Very sorry to all the people rooting for the Miami Marlins. I know I was, but it's the Houston Astros. They won 89 games in the regular season. They were the AL West champions, and they are your World Series champions in 2020. I tell you what, I think getting James Paxton back was such a big deal for them, but really this was just a really special lineup. Juan Soto, great, just a good rookie year for Juan Soto. 105 OPS plus, 330 on base percentage, just got the job done in right field for them. Correa, huge year, 7 WAR year. Chris Bryant, one of his better years of his career so far. This guy, Aaron Bond, who I haven't talked about much, he had a 136 OPS plus. Looks like he was their DH during this playoff run. It's not the most impressive team we've seen win the World Series, but like I said, sometimes, it's not the best team. Let's see how this series ended up. So those Marlins won 9-5. And then it was just reverse sweep after that. The final game, the Astros beat the Marlins 9-5 in that one. This was a game between Aaron Nola and Cavanario. Aaron Nola pitched a good game. Cavanario did not. Juan Soto hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 5th to give the Astros 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th. And I think that pretty much helped seal the deal, even though the Marlins rally in the 8th and the 9th a little bit. It was too big of a lead for them to overcome, and in fact, Juan Soto, well, there you go. And so sure, a lot of people have been like, wham, 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 like I wish Juan Soto was an absolute beast in this. He's the World Series MVP, all right? World Series MVP, Juan Soto. I think that's a lot of fun to see. Let's see how Jose Fernandez did. He lost the only game he pitched in, but he did pitch well in it. Let's see if I can find that game. So Game 2, it was a total pitcher's duel. He allowed 3 runs, but only one of them was earned, and he had 7 strikeouts. That's a real bummer that it went that direction, but congratulations to the Houston Astros, 2020 World Series champions. Juan Soto, your series MVP. He hit 450 and slugged 650. Also a very good series for Chris Bryant, who put up very similar numbers. You could have made the argument for him, but I guess with Soto hitting that grand slam in the clincher, they gave it to Juan Soto, so there you go. That is a wrap on the 2020 season. I will see you in the offseason. We are going to start the offseason with awards season. Hunter Dozier's your 2020 AL batting champ. In the National League, it is Brian Reynolds, who just barely won it over Matt Olson. Here are your Gold Glove winners in the American League in 2020. New name here, Carlos Mendeville is your 2020 Gold Glove winner at catcher. Looks to be just, for the most part, a more of a Jeff Mathesy type, but his catcher ability and catcher arm, they don't even inspire like the most confidence. Like, he looks good, but he doesn't look like elite, but he's your Gold Glove winner. Not much of a batter. Minnesota Twins first baseman Neil Walker wins the Gold Glove award. Again, definitely a glove first kind of guy. Chris Taylor wins one at second base. That is his first Gold Glove since 2016. He's on the Tampa Bay Rays. He had a really nice season this year. Good for Chris Taylor. Arenado wins at third base for the Tigers. I think he's won it pretty much every year of this simulation, except for 2012, when I guess he wasn't in the majors yet. 4 worst season, league average hitter. This has been definitely the norm for Nolan Arenado throughout his career. Bo Bichette wins at shortstop. His fielding ratings are absolutely insane in this. His arm maybe not the best. 60 is still really, really good, but the range is crazy, and he's a 6-WAR player thanks to his Gold Glove. Mike Tauchman wins in left field for the Cleveland Spiders. A below-average hitter this year, but he does get a Gold Glove. We see some new faces here. Garrett Whitley is not a new face. This is his 3rd Gold Glove in a row in center field. 4-WAR season, 355 on-base percentage. If I were playing an OOTP save, this would be a center fielder. I'd love to have just a guy above average on-base percentage, great defense in center field, speed, base stealing, base running, fun player to have. And Carlos Gomez of the New York Yankees, he wins in right field. However, he does not hit, so that continues my theory that Carlos Gomez can only truly be good when he plays for the Milwaukee Brewers in this simulation. National League Gold Glove winners, James McDonald of the Nationals. Real Muto gets a Gold Glove. I know this was not his best year offensively by any means, but he still gets a Gold Glove. Daniel Murphy wins a Gold Glove at first base. He also won that at 2019. Matt Reynolds of the New York Mets is your Gold Glove winner at second base. Not the best of offensive years for Matt Reynolds, but he's your Gold Glove winner at second base for the National League. Brett Laurie wins another one. He has a 6 WAR season for the Cubs. His offense has been on a bit of a downward trend lately since joining Chicago. However, the glove is still crazy. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Gold Gloves in a row, it looks like. And the fact that he and Nolan Arenado timed their switches so expertly between the American League and National League helps, so they never really had to compete with each other, I should say. Addison Russell wins at shortstop. He's won a lot of Gold Gloves in this. Justin Upton, he wins a lot of Gold Gloves in this. Goodness gracious, they really seem to like his defense. He has 60 outfield range in left field. That can help you do it. And he's 33. Jason Hayward wins in center field. He's won quite a few. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive Gold Gloves in center field. He's like a 7 WAR player every year. Appears to be on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Way to go, Jason Hayward, just 31 years old. And Domingo Santana wins in right. Domingo Santana, not known for his defense in real life, but he's a good defender in this. Let's see here. Okay, American League Reliever of the Year is Cable Hogbin of the Toronto Blue Jays. He had a 2.36 ERA in 80 innings pitched. Ryan Thompson, that great closer for the Orioles, finished second. Antonio Bastardo, who's had some good years in this, had a 2.01 ERA, but only 49 innings pitched. He looks like he was kind of like a lefty specialist. So that's your American League relievers. And then in the National League, it is Zach Gallen. We talked about Zach Gallen as a potential winner of this award. 2.23 ERA in 84 innings pitched. He had 4 games started, though. He could be in the rotation next year, I imagine, depending on how the Diamondbacks are set up. Bautista finishes second. Matt Strahm finishes third. Ryan Oduber of the San Diego Padres had a 2 ERA in 76 innings, also had 10 saves. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't finish higher. And Cameron Smith, who's been a good closer for those Pittsburgh Pirates, 32 saves this year. And he gets some 5th place votes. American League Silver Slugger awards are in. Wyatt Matheson wins. Looks like he had a very strong second half. He was not hitting this well at the All-Star break, although he was an All-Star. So a very capable replacement for Gary Sanchez, I must say. Luke Voigt wins at first base. He had 59 homers. Mookie Betts, only played 132 games this year. Had some injuries like that intercostal strain, but he slugged over 600, 36 homers, a career high. Also still 14 bases. Hunter Dozier wins at third base. He had a phenomenal year with the Red Sox. This was his first year with Boston. Correa had a huge year. Conforto had a huge year. Mike Trout, a very Mike sort of Trouty year, like an average Mike Trout year in this simulation. As crazy that is to say. It wasn't even a huge year by his standards, but great year nonetheless. He's a Silver Slugger in center field. Right field is Giancarlo. Poor Giancarlo played 130 games, missed that playoff run, and he could have. I think he could have won MVP. Honestly, he could have won MVP if he was able to play that last month or so of the season. Dwight Smith wins as a designated hitter. Silver Sluggers in the National League. Jose Fernandez gets one, but Gary Sanchez wins as catcher. He's won quite a few Silver Sluggers in this. This is his 4th Silver Slugger, his first in the National League. This was his first year with the Cardinals. I might have said he plays for the Phillies, but he does play for the Cardinals. Matt Adams on the Cardinals, he hit 64 home runs. That led Major League Baseball. That topped his total of 62 in 2019. Rendon, Silver Slugger at second base. Bregman, another really good year from Alex Bregman, although his 2019 better, I should say. But 2020 still good, Silver Slugger. Fernando Tatis Jr. also of that Padres infield. He gets the Silver Slugger at shortstop. He hit 39 home runs. Brian Reynolds, left fielder, Silver Slugger for him. He just had an absolute breakout year. Jock Peterson has just been really, really good throughout the simulation. Like a defensive center fielder who with like insane speed and like base stealing. He's like a weird bizarro Jock Peterson, but he's been fun to watch. And also he's a Silver Slugger. And Mitch Haniger gets one for the Philadelphia Phillies. Man, he has been really, really good for those Phillies these past like 3 or so years. Look how good Mitch Haniger is in this. That's been a lot of fun to watch. All right, Rookies of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year by split decision, 15 first place votes each. It's actually a complete tie, but it looks like they give it to Christian Robinson, which may just be, I don't even know. I was going to say it maybe alphabetical order last name. I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but we could call them Rookies of the year? Okay, they are. They are co-rookies of the year. They shared the award because Soto has it and Robinson has it. So yeah, congratulations to Robinson and Soto, rookies of the year. Soto had a good year. He was an above-average hitter, 3-WAR player. Robinson had 27 homers and 36 stolen bases. His 36 stolen bases actually led the American League. Alec Boehm, Jared Kelenic, Sterling Sharp suffered a torn labrum in his shoulder in late August. I would have considered giving the award to him because he was pitching very, very well for the Tampa Bay Rays. NL Rookie of the Year, by the way, rookie class getting weaker, of course, because of, just what's happening with the first-year player draft and all that. Benedetti is your Rookie of the Year. Carmen Benedetti, corner outfielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, looks to be like a pretty average player. Cole Irvin also got some first-place votes, 4.21 ERA for him, 106 ERA plus, though, so above average. Also a Milwaukee Brewer. This guy, Jahir Varela, looks to be a good reliever. Carlos Herrera, Trevor Clifton, Jordan Groshans, and Cody Hoyer. Closer for the San Diego Padres, saved 19 games. That's your NL Rookies of the Year. Again, not the strongest rookie classes that we're seeing lately, although it was fun that year. We had, I think Tatis and Wander Franco won. That was fun. Okay, Carlos Pena is the manager of the Houston Astros. Not sure if I knew that. This was his second year managing them, and they are World Series champions, and he is the manager of the year. And Mike Scioscia was the manager of the Chicago Cubs this year. They won 97 games, and he's the NL Manager of the Year. All right, time for Cy Young Award. Matt Latos gets one. Way to go, Matt Latos. That really caps off, I know there's one more season to go, but that really caps off a great simulation of Matt Latos' career. Look how good he is. He's 32 years old. He'll be 33 in just about a month or so. Up to 55 career F4. He has 2,000 career innings pitched, closing in on 150 wins, already over 2,000 strikeouts. And this is sort of just feels like a career achievement award. Way to go, Matt Latos. Way to have a great simulation. He is the American League Cy Young Award winner. Perez of the Twins finishes second. He had the best ERA. He also walked a ton of guys. Jack Flaherty got a first place vote of his own. He had a great year. I maybe thought he would have done a little bit better than that in the voting. Chris Archer, Jared Parker of the Tigers had 7.2 F4, which actually led the American League. Great ratios, only 11 homers allowed in 216 innings. He's been, I think, like Matt Latos, has been a lot of fun to watch throughout this simulation. Guys like Jared Parker, guys like Matt Latos, guys like Josh Johnson. Drew Smiley's there, Tyler Epler's there, the great pitcher for Tampa Bay, Mike Leake. James Paxton gets a vote, even though he only played half the season. That's how good James Paxton was. And Vince Velasquez of the New York Yankees grabs one. Very cool. Okay, National League now. I have a feeling I know who it's going to be. Clayton Kershaw, unanimous. Way to go, Clayton Kershaw. It's another Cy Young Award for him. It is. That makes it 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row for him, and 6 total for his career. 2.19 ERA. Best in Major League Baseball, 234 innings pitched, 10.2 F4, well-deserved. Alex Wood finishes second. He had a great year for the Braves. Bumgarner has just been a very, very good pitcher throughout this simulation. Probably put together a better career than he has in real life, and he's been a really good pitcher in real life, but I really like where Bumgarner's heading. Wade Miley, Walker Buehler, Matthew Bowman, who had a 2.72 ERA, and Jose Fernandez continues to get down ballot votes. Here's Jose Fernandez's career as things stand. Career 3.47 ERA, 116 ERA plus. We were kind of worried about him here. He had this really good 2013, and then 2014, 2015, we're like, uh-oh. And then from 2016 onwards, these last 5 years, he's been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And so that's been really good to see. I think this is the first year Felix Hernandez did not get any sort of Cy Young voting. We should check in on him in a second, as well as Josh Johnson, who was the reigning AL Cy Young winner. I think they may be on the downswing. Mike Trout is your American League MVP. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me count that one more time to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive American League MVPs for Mike Trout. Here are his career stats: a career 170 OPS plus. He has 363 homers, 313 steals, 82 WAR. He is not even 30 years old yet, and he has 7 MVPs, and he has 4 Gold Gloves. Mike Trout. Luke Voigt gave him a good run at it. Luke Voigt, of course, he hit 59 homers, and Stanton got a couple first place votes. It feels like Stanton could have won this one if he'd have stayed healthy. Hunter Dozier, Carlos Correa, Conforto. I'm trying to see if there's any names here. Mike Moustakas. We haven't checked in on Mike Moustakas yet this year much, but he hit 53 home runs. He's hit 50 home runs each of the last 3 years. Also hit 46 in 2017. He's a power machine, 900 OPS. Here's the career stats for Mike Moustakas, who has 372 home runs and just turned 32 this past season. He has been an absolute machine in this. Him and like Dozier have just been crazy. Sano, Moustakas, Betts, Wander Franco, of course, had a great year. Devers, the extra base hit machine. He hits a lot of doubles. He hits like 50 doubles a year, like it's nothing. Jonathan Villar, Matt Latos, Perez, Ozzy Albies, but Jason good season for him, although not quite as good as his 2019, but still probably the second best season of his career we've seen. And Joey Votto, there you go, 423 on base percentage, 132 walks, doing the Joey Votto thing with the Boston Red Sox. And now it's time for the National League. Brian Reynolds is your National League MVP. I wasn't sure if it was going to be him, but it is indeed him. He led batting average, won the batting crown. He led WAR by a pretty solid margin. He had 8.0 WAR. I don't think anyone else had more than like 6.5 in the National League. So just a huge breakthrough season for Brian Reynolds of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He grabs himself a MVP. He was also the Rookie of the Year in 2018. So way to go, Brian Reynolds. Matt Olson gets 3 first-place votes. He led OPS. He had 50 home runs. Jock Peterson gets a first-place vote. He had a great season. If Jock Peterson had a season like 2016 or 2017, he could have won MVP over his teammate Reynolds. Chris Davis gets a first-place vote. He hit 52 home runs. He had a 154 OPS plus. Way to go. Matt Adams, 64 home runs. We talked about that. It's insane. Kershaw also got 5 first-place votes, but we have not seen a pitcher win MVP. Gary Sanchez, Hayward, Tatis, Vogelbach, Alex Wood, Mets Bumgarner. Mitch is just incredible, man. Ryan Healy gets down ballot votes. He hit 40 home runs. He's just a great replacement for Lonnie Chisenhall. And that's award season for you. I do want to check in on a couple of the fellas here. I want to check in on King Felix. His first year with the Brewers, he was good. He had a good first year with the Brewers, 4 WAR season, 3.60 ERA, just still adding to his counting stats. I would also like to check in on like Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson of the Yankees, 4.27 ERA and 34 games started, but he still had a 4 WAR season. His repertoire, not the best, but I mean, stuff movement control is still good. Like he can put up volume for sure. I mean, another 200 innings pitched season. This is the career of Josh Johnson, by the way. I also want to, I'll just use this to check in on Sabathia. So Sabathia pitched for the Tigers this year, 15 games started, 5.23 ERA. His career may be drawing to a close, but this is what Sabathia's career looks like. I think it's a Hall of Fame career. He has 274 wins. That's a lot of F4. He has 3,200 strikeouts. So congratulations to CC Sabathia, though only a 2-time All-Star in this simulation. Curious. But he did win the Cy Young in 2007, but that was not during the simulation. Okay, so that's just a look around the league. Those are your award winners. Congratulations to, Trout and Kershaw and Matt Latos and Brian Reynolds. And let's check in with free agency. No first-year player draft. That aspect of the simulation is finished. Wander Franco is really the last important player to get into the pool. Anyways, this is one of the weaker free agency classes we've seen. Matt Latos is definitely the star of the show. He's your reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League and has put together just a very impressive career. He will be 33 this winter. He already has interest from the Cincinnati Reds, among others, so maybe he could be going back and reuniting with the Cincinnati Reds. Mike Leake's a free agent, but he's honestly just been like a great innings eater as of late. 2019, 2020, eats a lot of innings, but before that, he was on a really hot streak, had some really good seasons. I don't think he's an ace. I think he's probably like a good number 2, maybe. David Dahl, he stole a lot of bases last year. Wow, he had 39 stolen bases, 44 doubles. Had a 6 WAR season despite a 93 OPS plus. This is because David Dahl, a monstrous defender, he's actually a really fun free agent. I'm not sure if I would sign him given that he has fragile injury status, but yep. Jorge Polanco's a free agent. He had a bit of a down year in 2020, but he's been very good for the Minnesota Twins throughout this. Starlin Castro, has been 2 of the last 3 years he hasn't been like, or sorry, do I have this right? Yeah. Okay. 2 of the last 3 years he was like an above average hitter, and then well, no, oh my gosh, I got to get this right. Okay. So 2019 with Milwaukee, he was good, then he was bad, and then he got traded to Boston, and then he was good for them down the stretch. I don't know. He's not the most intriguing player either. Wyatt Matheson is intriguing, though. Last year in 2020, he was an all-star. He won the Silver Slugger. His 1 year with the New York Yankees. He'd been playing with the Pittsburgh Pirates throughout his save before that. So good timing on becoming a free agent. Cargo's a free agent again, but he's like 35 years old, and maybe his career is on the downswing, although I must say in 2019, he still had a very, very good year. 2020, closer to average. I do want to get down here. Let's see, Yu Darvish is a free agent. I think he's a pretty intriguing one, actually. He's still a big strikeout guy, even though his ERA's last couple years, 4.4, 4.7. Eugenio Suarez is a free agent. Jose Abreu is a free agent. Kyle Schwarber, Drew Pomeranz, Jay Bruce, Tanaka. McCutchen's a free agent. This is who I really want to get down to. McCutchen, here's McCutchen's career. He may be leaving the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's played with the Pittsburgh Pirates through 2020 in this simulation. So, honestly, it's not the most interesting of free agency classes, but we'll just have to see who they end up with. Here's your Hall of Fame class. I believe it's the last Hall of Fame class we'll look at for this simulation. Todd Helton in the Hall of Fame and Roy Halladay in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. Vladimir Guerrero, very, very close. Missed it by like a vote. Pudge also close. And then it's Ichiro, Billy Wagner, and Johan Santana. Carlos Beltran as well. Chase Utley fell off the ballot. His, once the simulation starts in 2012, he just didn't do particularly well. I think Chase Utley is a guy who should be a Hall of Famer in real life, and I think he will eventually make the Hall of Fame in real life, but in this simulation, he didn't close out his career the same way that a Hall of Famer would. But congratulations to Roy Halladay and Todd Helton. I believe they are the final Hall of Famers we will see. Couple of trades that have gone down this offseason. Jose Altuve is on his way to Colorado. He's going to become a Colorado Rocky. He's been playing his last 3 years with Chicago White Sox. Before that, he was with Milwaukee. Before that, he was, of course, with Houston. Here's what the career of Jose Altuve looks like. He has not necessarily ascended into superstardom, although in 2017 with Milwaukee, he did have a very good Jose Altuve-esque year. Otherwise, he's been a pretty average player throughout this, although he does have some nice ratings. Curtis Terry is also included in this trade. He looks like someone who could be a decent replacement for Jose Abreu, who is, of course, a free agent. And Nathan Eovaldi is going to join the Chicago White Sox. Last year in Colorado, he had a 4.35 ERA, which is actually equivalent to a 109 ERA+. Also had 3.7 F4. Keep in mind, F4 is based on FIP. So that could be a really sneaky good acquisition for the White Sox who are trying to strengthen their rotation. Meanwhile, here we have a trade between the White Sox and the Royals. So Brian Morris, it's an interdivision trade, and Brian Morris is on his way to the Royals. Brian Morris is a name we've said a lot throughout the simulation. He has been maybe the best reliever throughout all of this. He's a great pitcher in this, man. 2.54 career ERA, 165 ERA+. He's also saved 189 games. And he's going to join the Kansas City Royals for next season. He has 2 more years on his contract. He was the AL reliever in the year of 2014 and 2016. In return, the White Sox receive prospects, including this relief pitching prospect, Arturo Mujica, who looks like he's MLB ready. In fact, he pitched last year in MLB. He's not really a prospect. I shouldn't call him a prospect. But Brendan Davis and Carlos Herrera. So there you go. Couple interesting trades. Let's check in on these free agents. Wyatt Matheson, the reigning Silver Slugger in the American League as a catcher, is going to join the Toronto Blue Jays. Starlin Castro, 5-year deal worth $100 million to the Minnesota Twins. I mean, he has really good defensive ratings. He's not like sort of the good second baseman / not so good shortstop we saw him be in real life. He has really good defensive ratings. It's just a question of if he's an above-average hitter and he continues to play a good shortstop, I think that's going to work out, but it is a little bit risky. Tanaka is going to join the New York Yankees, so New York Yankees fans, I'm sure, are going to be happy to see that. He allowed 43 home runs last year and walked 37 guys. That's interesting, and he also struck out 200. Interesting pitcher Masahiro Tanaka. By the way, he won the 2016 AL Cy Young Award with the Minnesota Twins back in 2016. That was very redundant of me to say. You know what I'm saying. Let's see here. Eugenio Suarez is going to join the Philadelphia Phillies. He's kind of played like all over the infield in his career. I don't have all his years here, but he's played some second base, I think a little bit of third base, some shortstop in this as well. Looks like he might be the future starting shortstop for the Phillies as maybe Gurriel moves over to second base, but there's going to be a lot of power in that infield no matter what. Gurriel and Suarez, both on the Phillies. Let's see here. Who else is of interest? Oh, Matt Latos, 4-year deal, but huge AAV, $148 million. This is a player option in 2024. But yeah, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League is going to join the Philadelphia Phillies of the National League. So the Phillies have been very active throughout this free agency. Narvaez was a guy that they added last year as well, and he was coming off 2 really good years in 2018 and 2019 for the Tampa Bay Rays. So maybe watch out for the Phillies this year. Don't know for sure, but maybe watch out for them. They might make one last push for relevance in this final year of the simulation. Jorge Polanco gets a 7-year deal with the Cubs. And David Dahl, we talked about Dahl to Detroit. That was like a meme a couple off seasons ago. Maybe that was just last off season. But Dahl to Detroit has finally happened. And the David Dahl that's going to Detroit is a guy who's coming off a 6-WAR season. And he's only 26 years old. So that may just work out very well for Detroit. Let's see here. Jay Bruce is going to Boston. Drew Smyly, who, by the way, had a very good season last year for Los Angeles Angels. He appears to be the pickup for the Yankees this year. And McCutchen still remains a free agent. He was maybe the last guy that was super interesting to us. But yep, that's free agency. That's how it's going. And I will see you guys at the dawn of spring training. Dawn of spring training now. Here are the remaining free agents. Craig Kimbrell had himself his first true down year in 2020 while pitching for the Angels. He still had a 1.03 ERA+, but of course, he's been dominant throughout this simulation as well, him and Brian Morris. He just sort of seems resigned to sign 1-year deals like right before opening day every year. Kind of the same thing has happened to Kenley. It looks like Kenley had a really good 2019 with Toronto, though it was only in 27 games. Kenley, he was really good here in 2013, 2014, but he had some years that were much closer to like average reliever despite having really good ratings in this game. Charlie Blackmon's a free agent. He's been playing in Colorado this entire time, and he's put together a nice career for them, but he may be on the move. He's also coming off a 4-WAR season in Colorado, but he is wrecked injury-wise, and he's 34. I still think that would be a pretty nice signing to make, and Albert Pujols is still looking to play in 2021, as he did in real life just this past year for the Dodgers. He played for the Phillies last year, hit 16 home runs, 105 OPS plus, 1 WAR. I'm thinking this could be Albert Pujols' last year, but we'll just have to see. 694 home runs for Pujols, who's on the hunt for 700, I suppose. 3,500 hits. Let's see, 2,200 runs batted in. Does this make him the all-time leader? How many did Hank Aaron have? Is he the all-time leader? Well, I can't do it like that. There's so many people named Aaron. How many for Hammer and Hank? Hammer and Hank had 2,297. That's right. Okay. So I guess he could get there, but it's looking a little bit unlikely. But yeah, that's Albert Pujols looking to play his age 41 season. And let's check in with the offseason summary by team so we can see which teams have added the most WAR this offseason and which teams have lost the most WAR. So it looks like so far, and granted, this is only the beginning of spring training, and there's a lot of free agents left to sign. The Phillies, the Cardinals, and Yankees are the current winners of the offseason. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies. They were 77 and 85 last year, but they add Matt Latos, Eugenio Suarez, Giovanni Gallardo, Antonio Bastardo, and Chris Corrigan. Their most important players that they lose are Williams Perez, who's going to join the Atlanta Braves again. So he had a 1 year away from Atlanta. Now he's back with them, and Albert Pujols. St. Louis Cardinals, they've had a nice offseason. They added Tony Cingrani, and also Henderson Alvarez and Barrett Liu. So some nice adds in terms of the pitching. Didn't really lose anyone too important, although, of course, a franchise legend in Yadier Molina, currently a free agent. Only played 45 games last year, but was an above average hitter in them, just ever so slightly. Here's the career of Yadier Molina so far. He's closing in on 2,000 hits. He's 38 years old, but he's a 1.5-star player. He's the type of guy you would sign, just because he's a fan favorite, or maybe if he had like a captain personality trait, maybe more of a backup catcher these days. The teams that have lost the most WAR are the Mets, Angels, and Rockies. By the way, I should look at the New York Yankees as well because they've added WAR. New York Yankees add Drew Smyly and Jung Kang. Let's see here. He had a really good year with Cleveland last year. So that's the Yankees. Now we can move on here to the New York Mets. These are New York Mets who appear to be losers of the offseason so far. Haven't signed anybody. And they lose Daniel Murphy to Detroit. Wilmer Flores is a free agent. Hosmer's a free agent. Ian Kennedy's a free agent. Logan Forsythe's a free agent. Generally, the top tier free agents sign first, and then like the mid tier, and then like the lower tier. So those guys are yet to sign. The Mets could very well bring a lot of these guys back and then not really be considered the losers of the offseason at all. Los Angeles Angels. They added a couple relievers in Matt Stites and Tyler Clippard, and they traded for Kendall Graveman, but I mean, these aren't the best of relievers. Meanwhile, they lose Drew Smyly, who had such a good year for them, and they also lose Tyler Heineman to the Chicago White Sox, and Kimbrel's a free agent. But the biggest losers so far appear to be the Colorado Rockies. This is maybe, and they've had some bad off seasons before, because they've lost the likes of Arenado and Tulowitzki, right? They do add Curtis Terry via trade, which I think that could really work out for them, and Altuve. But they lose David Dahl, they lose Charlie Blackmon, they lose Jose Abreu, who's going to join the Minnesota Twins. Eovaldi via trade, Matt Boyd joins the Kansas City Royals. It's unfortunate for them. By the way, just one last thing before we move forward here to opening day. Andrew McCutchen has signed a deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. 3 years, $69 million. Nice. So, Andrew McCutchen, welcome to Canada. Opening Day 2021, the final opening day of this wild 10-year resimulation of Major League Baseball that started all the way back in 2012. We're looking at our top hitters in the league at the moment. 4 stars or better according to the OOTP rating system. Jesse Winker is one of them. He had an absolutely massive 2019. Followed that up with a little bit more pedestrian 2020, but still a very good season. But man, that 2019 was really special with the Cincinnati Reds. Trevor Story's here, Miguel Sano, Gary Sanchez, now of the St. Louis Cardinals. We scroll up for more. Anthony Rendon had a very good year last year for Arizona. He's become a consistently very good player and a second baseman in this save, not a third baseman as he has played in real life. Real Muto is here and Posey is still here. He's a 4-star player at the moment. Jock Peterson's been very good, great defender, great base stealer of all things. Matt Olson led MLB in OPS last year. Shohei Ohtani is a guy to definitely be excited about. He showed that he can be a two-way player in this league in 2020. What he has in store for 2021 with those Arizona Diamondbacks, we'll have to find out. McCutchen joins the Blue Jays. Brett Lawrie, slight injury, but he's been one of the top players in this simulation. Aaron Judge is now a 4-star player with 65 home run power. He's the type of guy who could maybe hit 40 home runs this year. Has just very slowly gotten a little bit better every year he's played in the majors, and that's been fun to watch with the St. Louis Cardinals. Hayward's here. He puts up like 7 WAR every year. Mitch Haniger recently, just last 3 years or so, one of the top outfielders in Major League Baseball. Gurriel Jr., his teammate with the Phillies, great power-hitting infielder. Wander Franco, this is his age 20 season with Kansas City. Josh Donaldson, first year with Detroit. Tyler Duden looks like he could be one of the top corner outfielders in Major League Baseball. That 70 contact, he could contend for a batting title if things go his way. He's very young, only 22 years old. One of these players that has really come out of nowhere. Jorge Alfaro, first time I've really seen Jorge Alfaro, but he's a 4-star catcher according to this. He's been playing for the Atlanta Braves, and his last few seasons have been slowly improving, getting better at the game, and looks like he's a good power hitting catcher. Ozzy Albies with the Boston Red Sox. Christian Yelich, his 2020 was not the best season he's had. In fact, it was probably his worst season since 2015, but he won back-to-back MVP awards in 2018 and 2019. So way to go, Christian Yelich. Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the top players in the league. He's with the Padres. Brian Reynolds, reigning NL MVP. Jason Leblejian, 2019 World Series winner, also a 2019 All-Star, had a great year. Really good 2020 as well. He's just a great all-around second baseman. Brandon Downs of the Miami Marlins, this is another guy that's kind of come out of nowhere, picked in the 7th round of that 2013 first-year player draft. Great season in 2019, and a really good one in 2020 as well. He could be a top corner outfielder going forward. Carlos Correa,
had a career year in 2020, nearly 7 WAR. Yordan Alvarez, great power bat, 52 homers in 2019, 35 in Yordan Alvarez, 52 homers in 2019, 35 in 2020. Yep. Daniel Vogelbach, this guy, just the ratings are absolutely insane. He had to wait a while behind Anthony Rizzo to get consistent playing time. Last year led the National League in on-base percentage, one of the top sluggers over the last couple seasons. Great player. He's a 5-star player. The other 5-star player is Mookie Betts with the Detroit Tigers, Alex Bregman with San Diego Padres. He had a great season last year, although only played in 108 games, but man, he could have been an MVP winner if he stayed healthy. Mookie Betts, kind of similar story, 130 games played, close to 1,000 OPS. Power really starting to come on. He hit 36 home runs, a career high. And of course, Mike Trout, unbelievable, best player in this simulation at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive AL MVP awards. Can he make it 8 in a row in this final season of the simulation? We'll just have to find out. Now let's check out these top prospects. Oh, whoops, actually I lied. I got to do the pitchers too. So here's the top starting pitchers. Alex Wood, the ace for the Atlanta Braves. Jared Parker, this was a guy in real life who had some really good seasons at a young age for the Oakland A's, and then arm injuries basically completely derailed his career. He's still going strong in this one, going into the 2021 season. This will be his 3rd year with the Tigers. He's a 4-star starting pitcher. Big movement, does not allow a lot of home runs. That's kind of his game at the moment. Mike Leake has been just great at eating innings at an above-average rate. He's, I think, a very good number 2 for most teams. Matt Latos, really good career for Matt Latos in this. He won the Cy Young Award last year in 2020. Now he joins the Philadelphia Phillies. He's pitched for the Reds. He's pitched for the Red Sox. I guess he just likes wearing red. Jack Flaherty was a guy we were waiting on for like a long time. Finally, in 2018, we see a glimpse of it, and then 2020, another great season from him. 293 strikeouts, my goodness. But yeah, Jack Flaherty, earlier in his career, he was showing so many flashes of potential. Now it seems like he's finally arrived. He's one of the top starting pitchers. Jacob deGrom has had a 4 ERA or higher in each of the last 3 seasons. 2017 remains his best season. However, these are the best ratings we've seen him have, so this could be a career year for Jacob deGrom. Only a one-time All-Star in this. Madison Bumgarner putting together a Hall of Fame career so far in this simulation. Career 2.79 ERA. Won a World Series in 2018 with the Cardinals. Won a Cy Young Award in 2014 with the San Francisco Giants. Just a phenomenal career for Madison Bumgarner. Still going very strong. One of the top starting pitchers in the league. David Price. Injuries are coming for David Price. Tore a flexor tendon in his elbow in 2020. 2019 season ended prematurely as well, like during his first start of the season. It's a real shame. He's 35 years old. Has barely pitched each of the last 2 seasons, and yet was so dominant right before that. So dominant. Hadn't had an ERA above 3 from 2012 until 2018. Chicago White Sox signed him to a big contract, and it's been a waste of money, sadly. He will be back from injury, though, in 4 to 5 weeks, supposedly, and hopefully the ratings stay intact, because then he could still have a really good season. Felix Hernandez, absolute beast in this simulation. He's won 1, 2, 3. He has 4 career Cy Young Awards. He won 3 of them during the course of this simulation. Still one of the better pitchers in the league, although hasn't quite had an elite season in a while. Not really since 2016, I would say. Has he really just had a monster season? But Felix Hernandez is his 2nd year with the Milwaukee Brewers. Clayton Kershaw, best pitcher in this save at the moment. Absolute beast. He's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 6 career Cy Young Awards, including 1, 2, 3, 4 in the last 5 years. That's how good he is. And then Walker Buehler of the Pittsburgh Pirates, huge strikeout guy. Great young pitcher in this league. Absolutely insane ratings. I wonder if he could win a Cy Young Award this year, because these ratings are absolutely out of this world. So those are your top starting pitchers. Now we can move on to the top prospects. Prospects could really not be any less important than now. I mean, no first-year player draft these last few years. This is a relatively weak class of prospects, and that's okay because this is our last season. We're not going any further. You see these guys with the ETA 2022, 2023, you literally won't see them make the majors. I mean, O'Neal Cruz might come up, but I mean, 2023, no chance at all. This is the last season. However, these top 3 guys all have ETAs for 2021. they will be most likely Rookie of the Year candidates. One of them is Nick Decker, number one prospect in baseball, 5-star potential. Looks like he could be an absolutely terrific hitter if he fully develops. Corner outfielder on the Kansas City Royals. He could be in contention for Rookie of the Year. One guy who I definitely think could be a Rookie of the Year in the National League is Cody Clemens, a second baseman / first baseman on the St. Louis Cardinals. Look at his eye and discipline potential. Look at his home run power potential. This could be a real beast of a player. In 14 games in the majors last year, he OPS'd over 1,100, so good for him. Another guy who was in the majors last year is the number one starting pitching prospect, selected in the 22nd round of the 2017 first-year player draft. That is Colton Eastman. Made his major league debut last year, pitched 5 games out of the bullpen. Huge stuff, a lot of room to grow. Maybe he'll be in contention for Rookie of the Year as well. Here's the rest of your top 100. Again, hate to say it, but a lot of these guys don't really matter for the sake of this simulation. But let's see. I see Jesus Luzardo. I see Isaac Paredes. I see Jacob Amaya. I see Jeter Downs. I see Alec Thomas. And your 100th best prospect is Rainier Aguilar, a catcher in the Cleveland Spiders system. Let's look at the preseason predictions. Here are your preseason predictions. The Toronto Blue Jays are slated to win the American League East. We don't know if that'll happen for sure. The Boston Red Sox are 2 games behind them. Here's a look at the Blue Jays. They added Andrew McCutchen this offseason. Their star players, Dwight Smith, Jason Leblejian. They also add Wyatt Matheson, who had a career year last year with the New York Yankees. Bo Bichette's a great defender, great glove guy for him. And Jack Flaherty, their ace. Luis Amaya is a monster closer with a 100 stuff rating on the 20 to 80 scale. Last year, he struck out 141 hitters in just 73 innings. He's unbelievable, but he is very wild. Boston Red Sox looking like a solid team this year, too. They have Votto. They have Ozzie Albies. Hunter Dozier has been an absolute beast throughout this. However, his ratings may have gone down just a little bit, but he won a batting title last year in his first year with the Boston Red Sox. They have Conforto. They have Ronald Acuna, even though it's maybe not quite the Ronald Acuna Jr. we all know and love. He had a really bad 2020, but honestly, his ratings, suggest that he could definitely be capable of putting up like a 3 or 4 WAR season for them. We'll root for that. Detroit Tigers appear to be the favorites in the AL Central. They have Mookie Betts. They add Albert Pujols. They have Josh Donaldson. This is his second year there. They have Nolan Arenado. And then Jared Parker, great pitcher for them. They also have Joey Wentz projected to do well. The young 23-year-old lefty. He currently projects to be, according to this, with a 3.65 ERA. So that would be fun to see for the Detroit Tigers if they could get someone going behind Jared Parker. Twins projected to finish second. Angels are projected to win the West. They, of course, have Mike Trout. Mike Moustakas has been a superstar throughout this simulation as well. Ryan McMahon's a good player. These guys have just powered some really great offenses in the middle of this lineup right here. Their pitching, usually a little bit more questionable. Garrett Richards pencils in as their best pitcher at the moment. He had a 4.90 ERA. However, bullpen's pretty solid. So that's the American League. Mookie Betts is projected to be the top hitter in the American League, followed by Voit, Trout, Albies, and Wander Franco. Top pitchers, Parker, Wentz, Kenta Maeda on Seattle, Woodruff on Chicago, and Jack Flaherty. Moving on here to the National League, the Atlanta Braves are projected to win 96 games and win the East. However, the Phillies, who have added this offseason, projected to finish second, so that'd be a big jump for them. Braves have been powered by the likes of Tardosevich, who's a big on-base percentage guy. Matt Olson led the league in OPS last year. The replacement for Freddie Freeman, Jorge Alfaro, great ratings at catcher. Jason Hayward, an absolute superstar in this. And some great glove middle infielders here with Nick Ahmed and Addison Russell. Carlos Franco appears to be a new addition to the squad. He was a part-time player in 2020 for them, but he's going to get the start at third base at the moment. Alex Wood and Mike Minor are good. Front of the rotation, Blake Beevan's been very good in the past as well, but we'll just have to see a little bit. Williams Perez, Colin McHugh, I think they'll be good to go in the rotation, and they have Peter Fairbanks as their closer. St. Louis Cardinals projected 99 wins. That's the best win projection that any team has. They've had great starting pitching. This is a type of rotation that has put up some monster years. Bumgarner, Medlin, Carlos Martinez, Henderson Alvarez, Fredo Garcia. Bumgarner, Medlin, and Carlos Martinez have all won Cy Youngs in this save. That's how good they are. They also have Joe Adell playing center field for them. First time I've said Joe Adell's name. He's a part-time player for them in 2020. Now he's their starting center fielder. Sandoval's been, he had a bad 2020.
But honestly, Sandoval before that had been a pretty good player. 2017, 2019 with the Boston Red Sox. We'll be rooting for him to bounce back. Gary Sanchez, great hitter for a catcher. Matt Adams, just huge home run totals. He's at 62 and 64 homers, respectively, the last 2 years. Aaron Judge coming on strong. Matt Holliday has retired by now. No more Molina, but yeah, that's a look at the St. Louis Cardinals. They'll be powered by their pitching, and the Dodgers projected to win the West. They have Kyle Kubica playing first base for them. That's kind of interesting. Jock Peterson's been a star in this. Corey Seager's a great player. Dominic Brown has surprised people. I'm sure he's certainly surprised Phillies fans, but I mean, last like 5 years or so, one of the best sluggers in the league, and they do have really, really good starting pitching. Kershaw, Matt Harvey, Chad Billingsley, Matt Bowman, who had a 2.72 ERA last year. Jordan Santana, who was one of the top relievers last year. Now he moves. He had 40 saves last year. Now it looks like he's going to start the season in the rotation. So there you go. That's Los Angeles Dodgers. Projected top players in the National League: Matt Adams, Vogelbach, Anthony Rizzo, who's on the Reds, Gurriel and Story. Top pitchers: Kershaw, Walker Buehler, who I think Cy Young potential this year. Unbelievable ratings. Felix Hernandez, Madison Bumgarner, Alex Wood, and also Jose Fernandez. I know people are interested in him. He's had a pretty good career overall. Had a few down years in 2014 and 2015, but overall, he's been a very fun pitcher to watch in this simulation. And sadly, this will be the last year of the simulation. We get to see Jose Fernandez. So there you go. Those are your preseason projections, and I will see you all at the end of May. We are here at the end of May. Each team has played a little bit more than 50 games so far. AL East has 3 teams doing really well. They sent 3 teams to the postseason last year, I believe. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles. Or they've done that at least at some point in this simulation. These 3 have been strong. The Rays and Yankees have been strong at points in this simulation, but they don't appear to be this year. So Blue Jays, they lead. They're a good team for sure. Red Sox, they have a leadoff hitter by the name of Andrew Monasterio. Okay, just thought you might be interested in knowing that. Red Sox are second in runs scored in the American League. Joey Votto, still having a solid year, 385 on base percentage. I just judge him by his on base percentage. Conforto having a really good year. Conforto was also really good last year. Last year he slugged over 600 for them. And Hunter Dozier having a good year, maybe not quite as good as that 2020. But Mike Leake and Patrick Corbin in the front of that rotation. In fact, Julio Teheran, I'll even lump him in there as well with a 122 ERA plus. Pretty strong front of the rotation for Boston. They look like a good team. Baltimore Orioles, they're just wild. They score so many runs. They have so much power. Look how many home runs. Devers has 10 home runs already. Stanton has 15. Yordan Alvarez has 20. He's on pace for 59. Luke Voit has 15, and yet the pitching, man. Pitching's not great. Blue Jays probably the most well-rounded of these teams, to be honest with you. But we'll just have to see. They're very interesting teams. Tigers have a 3.5-game lead in the AL Central. Definitely a team I'm rooting for. They have Albert Pujols, and Albert Pujols is on pace for 37 home runs. He's at 12 already. Mookie Betts having a great year. This could be a year where we see maybe Mookie Betts compete with someone like Mike Trout for an MVP award. Josh Donaldson has been one of the most consistent players I've ever seen in this save, only in 2020 when he downgraded his offense just a little bit and became a DH full-time. But now back with a 133 OPS plus and a 900 OPS in 2021. Nolan Arenado's here. He's generally like a league average hitter with great defense, a little bit below average here at the moment. They also have Trey Turner. They have Trey Turner, who has not had the greatest of MLB careers so far. He had one flash there in 2018 where he was going absolutely nuts with the Angels, but he's a Detroit Tiger now, and it looks like he's playing shortstop for them. So that's them. The Astros and Dodgers have each won 36 games, so those are the best records in the AL and NL respectively. This Astros team is 4th in runs scored, but they're 1st in runs against. They've only allowed 226 runs. They have great pitching, and Aaron Nola looks like he may be having a career year, maybe even a Cy Young caliber year with a 2.43 ERA through his first 12 starts, so good for him. Carlos Correa also having a great year. He could be an MVP candidate type of year. He's at 21 home runs already. That puts him on pace for a wild 63, playing second base for those Houston Astros. And oh my goodness, Juan Soto, he's played 50 games. He's hitting 385. Is he going to become the Juan Soto this year? I kept talking him down. I kept saying, he could be a decent player. He was your co-rookie of the year last year. Now Juan Soto having a massive year for the Houston Astros, up to a 3.5-star player, by the way. High work ethic. He's still only 22. All right, Juan Soto, I see you. Miami Marlins lead the East, and they lead the East by 7 games already. I know people are definitely going to be rooting for this Miami Marlins team. They've gotten close at times. This is another strong team, it appears. Jose Fernandez, 1.66 ERA through his first 11 starts. This could be a career year for Jose Fernandez. Christian Yelich, maybe he's just on the decline or something. Like, he had a really rough start to 2020 as well. 2021, an equally rough start, I should say. But Freddie Freeman's having a good year, 140 OPS plus. He can sort of carry the load. Brandon Downs, we talked about him, a little bit slow to get going, but he's a great defender in left field, and so he can derive a lot of value from his defense, like Gold Glove caliber. And Real Muto, okay, he's a little light on the offense too, but good pitching on this Marlins team. Felix Bautista, who almost won reliever of the year last year, having another fantastic start to his season with a 1.40 ERA. He's definitely key for them. Cardinals lead the Central. It's all about their pitching, as you can imagine, although their offense is 4th in runs scored in the National League. But Bumgarner, Carlos Martinez, these are just elite ERAs. And then Medlin's having a good year. Alex Cobb's having a good year. And Harrison Alvarez, this is perfectly fine for a 5th starter. It's perfectly fine. It's close to the league average. Gary Sanchez not having a great year. Matt Adams is. He's on pace for 62 homers. What if Matt Adams hits 60 home runs 3 years in a row? How about that? Cody Clemens with an OPS over 900. Is he going to be the NL Rookie of the Year? We'll just have to see. And Aaron Judge having a career year so far, up to a 154 OPS plus, on pace for 50 home runs. He's starting to look like the Aaron Judge that we all know and love. So that's the Cardinals. Pirates also doing well. They occupy a wild card spot. You know, generally with the Pirates, it's been all about their young pitching. Tyone, Christian Castillo, and David Burkhalter haven't necessarily been the best. I mean, Burkhalter hasn't been bad. I shouldn't really lump him in. He's 100 ERA plus. But Marco Gonzalez, great. Walker Buehler, great. 2 great pitchers there. 2 great young pitchers for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's kind of their calling card. And the Dodgers lead the West. I know the Diamondbacks have been historically very good in this, but Dodgers lead the West at the moment. Dominic Brown slowing down a little bit, maybe. Kind of not the best of starts to the season, but Brian Reynolds, the reigning MVP, he's picking up where he left off, having a great year. And Corey Seager looking like an absolute monster, OPS over 1,000. Kershaw is doing Clayton Kershaw things. And Matt Harvey's having a very good year as well. His ERA is 3.1. Last year he had a 3.89 ERA, which was also quite good. Here's the career of Matt Harvey. He's overall been a solid pitcher. Not like an insane pitcher, but he's been a solid pitcher, a much more consistent career. Yordan Santana, who was coming out of the bullpen last year. He has a good ERA. Brett Oberholzer is their 5th starter. This is a good team. Although Chad Billingsley, torn flexor tendon, he's out of the mix. 36 years old, would be 37 this summer. So that could be the end of Chad Billingsley. But he's hung on for a while here. So there you go. The first 50 games, that's what the standings look like. Let's look at the stat leaders. Statistical leaders. This is fun because we have a different leader in average, on-base, slugging, and OPS. That's fun. Rafael Devers, I didn't note this, hitting .398. He's flirting with 400 through these first 50 games or so of the season. He's having a great start to his year. He's been a very good player throughout this simulation, I must say. And Juan Soto's 2nd. That's crazy. Leblebjian with a .467 on-base percentage. He looks like he has a injury, though, suffered at the end of May. That's a 3-week injury. That's a huge bummer, but he is definitely the key player for the Toronto Blue Jays ever since Brett Lawrie left. Mitch Haniger leads slugging. He has just been on a tear in this simulation like the last 4 years or so. What a player. Taylor Lindsay, huge power hitting second baseman. He's up there. He's on pace for 62 home runs. We got a lot of guys. I know it's early. I know when I say on pace, a third of the season hasn't been played, but we've seen some crazy home run totals in this. Yordan Alvarez is up there. Soto's up there. And yeah, Soto and Haniger are tied for OPS. Then it's Yordan, Devers, Mookie Betts, and Miguel Cabrera for the New York Yankees, who has suffered a strained hamstring. That's going to put him out 4 to 5 weeks. This is his age 38 season, 2019-2020. Solid enough years for sure. I mean, he hit 40 home runs in 2020, don't get me wrong. But 2021, he was off on an absolute tear. Here are the career stats of Miguel Cabrera. Great career for Miguel Cabrera. Now over 2,000 runs batted in for him. Sad to see that injury take him down, but he will be back for the at least the second half of the season, hopefully. Leading in stolen bases is Jock Peterson with 20. Yeah, it's crazy how he's like a base stealer in this. Moving on to the pitching leaders, best ERA belongs to Jose Fernandez. There you go, 1.66. That is followed by Carlos Martinez, Kershaw. Here's a new name, Nestor Oronel, 2.24 ERA in 11 starts for Cleveland. All right, way to go, man. Alex Wood, Madison Bumgarner. Fernandez leads F4. Bumgarner leads innings pitched. Walker Buehler, who we talked about, is a big strikeout guy, big strikeout guy, on pace for 346 strikeouts. He has 109 already. And this guy, Jen Ho Tseng, is the saves leader at the moment with 18 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's interesting to see. Okay, so those are your stat leaders at the moment, and I will see you guys at the All-Star break. Looking at injury news around the league at the All-Star break, Josh Donaldson, broken bone in his elbow. Very unfortunate. I think that ends his season. So that's a huge blow for the Detroit Tigers, who are definitely in the hunt for a playoff spot this year. Jose Abreu, torn quadriceps. David Dahl, severe hip strain. Those are injuries that'll last you about a month, I think it looks like. So there we go. That's for the hitters. Couple to starting pitchers as well. Madison Bumgarner, this is a small one. 2-week herniated disc. He has been out with that for that suffered that like 2 days ago. Jared Parker, bone chips in his elbow. Unfortunate there. But the two big ones, Billingsley we covered. Torn flexor tendon in his elbow. That basically ended his season. And then Jameson Taillon, torn rotator cuff. So that's a loss for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are such a good pitching team in general. But yep, there's your injury news around the league. And now we will check out the standings because we are here at the All-Star break. Standings look like this at the moment. The biggest piece of movement appears to be the Atlanta Braves have taken over first place from the Miami Marlins. That's huge because the Marlins had a significant lead through those first 50 games of the season, but that has melted away. Braves lead the NL East. Marlins now contending for a wild card spot alongside, for example, the San Diego Padres. We haven't talked about the Padres much this year, but looks like they have some really good pitching. Everyone in the rotation has an ERA below 4. I know they play in a pitcher-friendly park, but that's really impressive. I can't believe they're only 4th in runs against because I just see these ERAs and they look very, very good. Trevor Rogers having a good season. Colton Eastman, who we're talking about as a Rookie of the Year candidate, having a good rookie season. He's like the number 3 prospect in baseball coming into this year. Peter Lambert, Trevor Clifton, Michel Baez. As far as their lineup goes, Alex Bregman. Wow, Alex Bregman. And granted, he's only played 54 games this season, so he must have had some sort of injury. Let's see, back tightness and a broken collarbone. Ouch, but he's hitting 397 with a 1,300 OPS. Will he keep that up? I don't know. I'm leaning towards no, but that's a healthy sample size to be putting up those numbers. Tatis is having a pretty good year as well. So there you go. Those are the San Diego Padres. We may see them in the postseason if they keep this up. Arizona Diamondbacks, they're also occupying a wild card spot. They've just been a strong team throughout the simulation. Anthony Rendon's having a very good year. His OPS is about 1,000. John Neese is here. He's been very good for him. 2.74 ERA. Way to go, John Neese. Trevor Bauer's here. Zach Gallen, Tyler Skaggs, and Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani with a 5.31 ERA as a pitcher. However, as a hitter, absolutely incredible. He only has 130 plate appearances, but his OPS is nearly 1,200, 202 OPS plus. So huge hitter no matter what. I would consider making him a one-way player at this point, but we'll just have to see what happens there. He pitched well last year. Astros lead the West. Mariners are second, and that's a little bit of a surprise to see them, potentially in contention for a wild card spot. They've been way down lately, but Jared Kelenic is here, and he's having what appears to be a good season for them. Tyler Dearden, we talked about him preseason, 155 OPS plus, having a terrific year, a career year. Ketel Marte is at various times in this simulation looked like he was about to break out, and it just hasn't ever quite happened for him. That's unfortunate. They have Ryan Zimmerman. This is Ryan Zimmerman's first year with Seattle, and this guy Jose Chacin, their 24-year-old starting pitcher with an ERA below 3 through his first 14 starts of the season. Interesting team, those Seattle Mariners. Twins are also in wild card contention, although the Tigers still have a slim 1.5 game lead. But here's a look at your Minnesota Twins. Rotation hasn't been the best, but actually their best pitcher in the rotation currently by ERA is Jose Barrios. So he has a 3.89 ERA on the year. He has 14 games started. No one too impressive here in the lineup, but actually Charlie Blackmon in his first year outside of Colorado in Minnesota, hitting 300 on pace for 3 WAR, playing right field for them. So there you go, Charlie Blackmon. Right here, Blue Jays lead, Red Sox and Orioles, of course, in wild card contention. But the biggest news so far is definitely the Braves taking a lead over the Marlins. Here's a look at your Atlanta Braves. Alex Wood, unbelievable, 2.07 ERA at the break. Is he in the hunt for a Cy Young Award? We'll see. Mike Minor pitching well, Blake Beavan pitching well. Good bullpen for the Braves as well. They have allowed 301 runs, which is the fewest in the National League. The lineup is a little bit slow this year, I must say. They are tied for 8th in runs scored, but they have a very good lineup, and you would expect them to score more than that. Matt Olson having a good year, although not as good as 2020. Jason Hayward, this would be like the worst year Jason Hayward has had throughout this entire simulation, basically, which is crazy to say. Joey Turdoslavich, who was an OBP king for a while, he hit 320 in 2018. Now he's hitting 197, but he does walk a lot. 359 OBP, it's nothing to sneeze at, but not a lot of power, not a lot of slugging. It's unfortunate. So that's a look at the Braves. They lead the Marlins. But yes, let's check out these All-Star Game rosters. All-Star Game rosters are here. These are the last All-Star Game rosters we'll see. I can't believe this is the final season. Jack Flaherty is going to get the start as a pitcher, which I'm intrigued by. His ERA is above 4. But, pretty good ratios in terms of strikeouts and walks. It's just the home runs have been really high. He's allowed 23 homers in 110 innings. Patrick Corbin's an all-star. Patrick Corbin's had a pretty nice career throughout the simulation, I must say. He's been a very solid pitcher to have most years. However, this is his first all-star game, so congratulations to Patrick Corbin having a career season. Justin Hancock is representing the Texas Rangers, although his ERA is 4.29, but that's still above average, 114 ERA+. This is a high offensive environment for sure. Cable Hogbin is your leading vote getter among relievers. He was the reliever of the year for the American League in 2020. Good for him. Let's see here. Steve Cishek makes an all-star game. He has a 2.34 ERA. He was reliever of the year in 2019 for the American League. Let's see, among position players here, Wyatt Matheson makes another all-star game. He was really good in 2020 for the Yankees. However, in 2021, he may even be better for the Toronto Blue Jays. So way to go, Wyatt Matheson. I'm impressed by that. Maxwell Morales, that's a new name, a 23-year-old catcher for the Boston Red Sox. He has 70 which is really special, especially for a catcher, a 372 on-base percentage, average defense, maybe at best, but he's in the All-Star game, and Sean Murphy of Cleveland makes the All-Star game. This is his first All-Star game. He's 26 years old. Congratulations to Sean Murphy of the Cleveland Spiders. Ryan McMahon is in the All-Star game. He's been really good for Los Angeles for years now. Voit is here. He has 27 homers at the break. Albies and Betts, we've seen them make All-Star games. Albies is sort of the replacement for Betts in this universe because he's with Boston playing second base. Correa is an All-Star. Taylor Lindsay, the crazy power-hitting second baseman's an All-Star. He has 34 homers. Alec Boehm is a first-time All-Star. He's an All-Star for the Oakland Athletics. He is sort of their Josh Donaldson replacement. OPS over 800 and a good enough defensive third baseman, it looks like. Way to go, Alec Boehm. Devers is an all-star. He's hitting 363. Dozier's an all-star. He's starting to heat back up. He had kind of a slower start to the year. Baez on Tampa. Wander Franco. Francisco Lindor, first-time all-star. Took a while, but Francisco Lindor is here. First-time all-star, on pace for a 7.6 WAR season. That would be quite the breakout for Francisco Lindor, who's been a good player, but we haven't seen him become a star. Yordan Alvarez, his ratings have really just come along, man. And he's a 1,000 OPS guy. He's one of the top hitters in the league for sure. He's an all-star. Jonathan Daza of Kansas City Royals is an all-star. He's hitting 335. His OPS is over 900. Can he keep it up? I don't know. Looks like he was an all-star in 2017. I might have missed that when that happened because I was really surprised to see his name. Tyler Dearden, Kemp, JD Martinez. Juan Soto is an all-star. He's having a huge year. Luis Gonzalez of Detroit in center. Max Kepler. And, of course, it wouldn't be an all-star game without Mike Trout. He has back stiffness, but that's a moderate injury day-to-day for the next 2 days. Starting pitcher for the National League is going to be Clayton Kershaw. I must say that starting pitching in the National League is much stronger, I should say, than that in the American League. There's been these seasons, these guys are all going crazy. Everyone is going crazy on the All-Star Game roster. I mean, this is going to be like an all-time Cy Young Award race, the way this is shaping up. Buehler, Bumgarner, like Jose Fernandez, Kershaw, all having Alex Wood, 1.94 ERA, and then even the next tier of pitchers like Carlos Martinez having a great year. Joey Lucchese's here. He's a first-time All-Star, but man, the pitching in the National League is just absolutely insane. Good for them. Brent Honeywell's an all-star. That's pretty cool to see. He's a reliever for the Colorado Rockies. Felix Bautista's an all-star. He looks like he's in contention for reliever of the year. Catchers are Omar Narvaez, Salvi Perez, and Buster Posey. Is this Salvi's first all-star game? Now, this is his third all-star game, but his first since 2014. Salvi Perez playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, of course. Go to the Arizona Diamondbacks, play well. The Diamondbacks are just a good team in this simulation, no matter what, it seems. Matt Adams is an all-star. He has 39 home runs. Goodness gracious. Is he going to go for 60 again? Matt Olson and Vogelbach. Vogelbach, of course, a beast in terms of his ratings. Just the talent change randomness hit hard. Cody Clemens is a first-time all-star. He's a rookie as well. Phillip Evans is an all-star for the Milwaukee Brewers, second baseman. There you go. Anthony Rendon, by the way, playing third base this year, it would appear. That's the position he plays in real life, although I believe he was drafted. When he was, he would play some second base in like the minors. Wilmer Flores plays second base for the Arizona Diamondbacks, so that's a little position update. Seager, Tatis, Josh Bell had a very big year last year, might be having an even better year this year if he can stay healthy. That would help Pittsburgh's offense a lot. Sam Hilliard's an all-star. He's slugging .561. He's hit 27 home runs. Okay, Sam Hilliard, an outfielder for the Padres. Padres, I'm curious to see where they end up in these standings here. Judge, Winker, Jason Hayward, Christian Yelich, Mitch Haniger, Brian Reynolds. These are all been just great outfielders these last few years. Is this Judge's first All-Star game? Yes, it is. Congratulations to Aaron Judge, and congratulations to the 2021 All-Star team. Here's a look at the standings here. Again, only a couple weeks have passed since the All-Star break, but the news around is that Twins have taken a slight lead over the Tigers, and it looks like the Cardinals are just opened up a very solid lead in that Central over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cardinals are 71-34. They have the best record in baseball at the trade deadline. So let's talk about these trades. So here's a look at some trades around the league. This trade actually took place in May. The rest of these took place around the trade deadline. But it was a trade between the Rangers and Diamondbacks that sent Ryan Braun to the Diamondbacks. So Ryan Braun has played 63 games for the Diamondbacks this year. Has been basically just an average player for them, but he's playing left field for them. In exchange, the Rangers received Blaze Alexander, who was a great OOTP player from you once, and Jonathan Scope as well. So there you go, swap there. Now we move closer to the trade deadline. Look at some of these deals. Ryan Zimmerman is joining the Milwaukee Brewers for this playoff push, interestingly enough. He played earlier this year for Seattle, who he signed a contract with, just a one-year deal. His career is definitely coming to a close, if I had to guess. I mean, he may have some serviceable role player type years left in him, but he had a great career with Washington, and Atlanta was a great player for them. So that's a look at Ryan Zimmerman joining the Milwaukee Brewers. In exchange, it was just prospects, I think. Yep, this guy, who looks like he could be, a big strikeout reliever, and Jeremiah Jackson, this guy. So there you go. We have a trade here between Philadelphia and Minnesota. Minnesota's made a couple of moves. One of those is to get Giovanni Gallardo. So they've thrown him into the rotation, and he's thrown a good start for them. 6 innings scoreless. That helps their rotational depth. Milwaukee makes another deal here. Again, Minnesota involved, and they acquire Chris Davis. So Chris Davis had not been having a good year at all for Milwaukee this year, although, in 2020, he had a huge year. He had 52 home runs. So Minnesota's like, okay, we'll trade for him. We'll give him a shot. And so he's only played one game for them so far, but he's already homered. So maybe Chris Davis could be instrumental in a playoff push. And then we just have a couple trades here on the deadline day itself. Teams basically acquiring big-time relievers for prospects. Kenley Jansen is back with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's having a career year with the New York Yankees. He has not had a year like this in quite some time. In 2019, he got close, but that was only 27 games. Like, he got injured. He's had an up-and-down sort of career, but if he finishes this simulation on a high note, that would be a lot of fun. He's on the St. Louis Cardinals now in exchange for, basically prospects. You want to see him, this guy, this guy, this guy. And then finally, a trade between the Giants and the Astros. The Astros acquire Reyes Moronta, who's going to be their closer, in exchange, for like young, prospecty type guys who we're probably never going to see in the majors. Maybe this guy? I don't know. We'll have to see. But there you go. So a couple teams in the hunt get big-time relievers. And yeah, that's your trade deadline. I will see you guys at the conclusion of the regular season. Here we are, the final day of the final regular season. This 10-year simulation is almost up. Wow, sorry, Los Angeles Angels. They finished losing 10 in a row. They're not going to sniff the playoffs. Sorry for all the people that were rooting for a Mike Trout ring. Didn't happen. Got close. Not going to happen in this simulation. The Astros win the West easily. They've won 100 games. Twins win the Central. Blue Jays win the AL East with the Red Sox grabbing a wild card spot, and the Detroit Tigers grab the other wild card spot. Meanwhile, over here in the NL East, Braves win that one, and it's the Marlins and the Pirates fighting for a wild card spot. Diamondbacks have a wild card spot. Dodgers win the West, and the St. Louis Cardinals with 105 wins. Wow, could they be the team? We have not seen a team win 2 World Series within the simulation. It's been a unique team every year. However, the St. Louis Cardinals have won a World Series before. If they win a second one, then does that kind of make them the kings of the simulation? We'll just have to see. But here we go. Let's check in on some of these division winners. Blue Jays won 101 games. Wyatt Mathisen, just a terrific season for them. I just kind of thought maybe this 2020 was the best it could get for him. He says, nope, I will follow that up with a great season of my own. Aledmus Diaz hit 300 this year, 125 OPS plus, 5.1 WAR, playing a variety of positions in the infield, I imagine. Andrew McCutchen in his first year with the Blue Jays, solid, very, very solid, although he's getting paid a lot of money. Bo Bichette, huge glove guy, 95 OPS plus, 5 WAR. That's all you need to know. He's just a defensive guru in this. It's been fun to watch. Jack Flaherty, great year for him, 18-4, 3.65 ERA. Struck out 252 batters. He is their ace for sure, and they do have a really good bullpen. Cable Hogben is the reigning AL reliever of the year. He had a good year again this year. And Luis Amaya, the huge strikeout guy, 121 strikeouts in 70 innings, 39 saves. He had a great year. This is a good team. Those Toronto Blue Jays, they've won a World Series before too. Minnesota Twins win the Central. Charlie Blackmon it was just a really good year for him. That's a great signing. It was a 1-year deal. It was $25 million, and he gives them 5.3 WAR, and they're a playoff team. Starlin Castro had a good year. Okay, so nice signing there too. Starlin Castro had a 7 WAR year. Wow, this is a career year for Starlin Castro in 2021. Surprised me a little bit. I definitely thought it was risky at the time. Giovanni Gallardo, excellent down the stretch for them. 2.21 ERA in 12 starts. This Twins team is looking pretty good. They have Jose Abreu as well, who had a good season. The Twins have been in the playoffs some, but I feel like this is one of the better Twins teams we've seen in this simulation. Astros win the West. Let's check in on Juan Soto here. Great year for Juan Soto. Really asserts himself as one of the better young players in this league, and it's just fun to see his age 22 season. I would call this a breakout, even though he was also Rookie of the Year in 2020. Proves me right for doubting Juan Soto. Even when he's not Juan Soto himself, he's still good, Chris Bryant had a great year, maybe best year of his career. I think so. I think this is maybe the best year of Chris Bryant's career. Carlos Correa, good year, hit 41 home runs. And Brock Stewart, this guy appears to be their best starting pitcher. He had a 3.64 ERA in 32 starts. Congratulations to Brock Stewart. So there you go. And the Detroit Tigers, a team that I like quite a bit. They're in the playoffs. They have Trey Turner. They have David Dahl. This year, a 2.7 WAR, not as good as maybe that 6.5 WAR he had the previous year, but he only played 88 games. So when he plays, he's good, because he's a big-time defensive center fielder. Albert Pujols, 38 home runs. You got to start to wonder, at 732 home runs, is he in the chase for the all-time home run crown? Because if he just maybe needs a couple more years at it, and he could definitely pass Barry Bonds. So that's where Albert Pujols stands right now. Here's Arenado, another 3 WAR average hitting season. Mookie Betts, 8 WAR season, OPS over 1,000. That's the Detroit Tigers. Watch out for them. Cardinals, best team in the land, great pitching. Madison Bumgarner, 1.87 ERA. Is he going to get another Cy Young Award? We'll have to see. Maybe see what Kershaw did this year. Matt Adams, 53 home runs. He is sadly washed, didn't even hit 60 home runs. Aaron Judge, career year, 6 WAR, 46 homers. Yeah, this is the Aaron Judge we know and love for sure. Way to go, man. And Joe Adell's hitting leadoff for them. That's really interesting to see. Great pitching all around from this team. This is just a very complete team, those St. Louis Cardinals. Braves win the East. Looks like the bats started to heat up a little bit, Hayward got close to 7 WAR. Matt Olson hit 54 home runs. Wow, Matt Olson must have gone on a real tear in that second half. Good for him. Ian Happ had a good year. And then Alex Wood, just ERA below 2. I mean, he was magnificent. Mike Minor was good. Braves are a really good team this year. I'm surprised this adds up to only 93 wins. Marlins, they're in the hunt for that second wild card spot. Jose Fernandez, a 2.26 ERA to close out this simulation. However, we may see him in the playoffs. We'll just have to see. Yelich got hot, finished with a really good season, actually. His first 50 games or so were just dreadful. Here's Freddie Freeman's stats. His OPS was over 900. Ryan Healy this year, not nearly as good as his 2019 and 2020, but still, like an average player. And Felix Bautista, great year for him. Could be reliever of the year when it's all said and done in the National League. Pirates are also in contention for a wild card spot. They are 11th in runs scored, and they are 2nd in runs against. So great pitching on this team. Walker Buehler, terrific year. I don't think it's necessarily a Cy Young year, but he was very, very good. Actually, you know what? He could contend. I mean, he struck out 316 guys, which is absolutely insane. He's a huge strikeout guy. Cameron Smith, terrific ERA as well. He's in the rotation currently, has mostly pitched out of the bullpen this year. Marco Gonzalez, good. Christian Castillo, good. David Burkhalter, fine. And this guy, Jin Ho Tseng, had 48 saves. That might be the most saves we've seen in a season throughout this simulation. He's done a really good job for those Pirates. So these two teams are so fun. It's a shame that only one of them can advance. Dodgers win the West, 96 wins. Jock Peterson, not the greatest of years for Jock Peterson, but I mean, he does go 30-30. It's pretty crazy that he can do that in a not so great year. Dominic Brown, he had such a rough start to the season, but it looks like he finished out just fine. They have Machado. Brian Reynolds' year, not as good as his MVP year. But yeah, they were actually first in runs scored in the National League. They scored 811 runs. Yordani Santana, who came to the, rotation from the bullpen. 28 games started, 3.61 ERA. Oh, though, here we go. Look what's happened. I feel like this is maybe the second time this has happened to him. He always, maybe I'm thinking of when it happened to like Bumgarner too or someone like that. Nope, last year, sprained ankle in September, 8 to 9 weeks. This year, partially torn labrum in September. That's a 3-month. He does not like the postseason. 2.07 ERA for Kershaw in 200 innings pitched. I mean, he basically still got a full season and might have missed like a couple of starts, but wow, I mean, that's huge for the guy who has been the best pitcher throughout this simulation. Here are his career stats. Unbelievable, but a partially torn labrum. He will miss the postseason for the National League champion Dodgers. And here's the Diamondbacks. Just a mega consistent team, Looks like Braun did a solid job for them once he was acquired via the trade. Rendon had a huge year. I think this might be the best year of Anthony Rendon's career. 2018 definitely comparable, but really impressive year from Rendon, and they have a great rotation. Neese, Bauer, and then, actually, Miley, Gallen, Otani not doing the best, but they were 7th in starters ERA. Okay. But, Neese and Bauer up front is strong. Otani this year finishes with a 4.37 ERA, which is his 100 ERA plus, which is exactly league average. As a hitter in 181 plate appearances, his OPS 1100, 193 OPS plus. I think at that point you start to think, let's just let him play first base. I mean, their first baseman is Jake Lamb, though, and he's solid. But maybe Otani would benefit from playing in the American League with the DH. But yeah, there you go. Those are the teams in contention at the moment. Those are teams that are, in the playoffs, and then now it's down to the Marlins and Pirates. If the Marlins, the Marlins have to lose and the Pirates have to win to force a game 163, so we'll have to see what happens there. It happened. So the Pirates, they win 2-1 versus the Cincinnati Reds, a game that features a bonkers 2-run walk-off home run from C. De La Guerra. Who is that? Chad De La Guerra completely saved the season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. This was a guy who had an OPS below 600 on the year, negative WAR. He completely saves the season for the Pirates. Meanwhile, Miami, they actually lost to Miami, to Philly, 9-7. Big moment here. Yeah, looks like in the 7th inning, in the bottom of the 7th, the Phillies took the lead for good on a Tyler O'Neill 2-run home run. All right, so here's a game 163, Pirates versus Marlins for the final playoff spot of this simulation. Marlins advance. Okay, Jose Fernandez started that game, so he's not going to be available in the early goings of that division series, but Jose Fernandez came out for his team, 6 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, 4 strikeouts, outduels Walker Buehler, and Bautista gets the save. Looks like Healy hit a 3-run homer off of the Pirates closer in the 8th. And yep, Marlins win that one 7-3. So they advance to the postseason thanks to Jose Fernandez and Ryan Healy. And so the postseason picture is finally set. Who will win the World Series in 2021? Here are your regular season stat leaders. It was an absolutely monstrous year for Alex Bregman, who missed time. Alex Bregman did this in 125 games. 125 games he had this season. He hit 41 home runs. His OPS nearly 1,200, 219 OPS plus. I believe that's the highest we've seen. 10.7 WAR in 125 games. An absolutely monster miracle of a season for Alex Bregman. It's really a shame that the Padres could not get into the playoffs. They finished 87-75 because Alex Bregman, unbelievable season. He manages to qualify with 546 plate appearances, so he's going to lead average. He's going to lead on base percentage, slugging, OPS, WAR. Absolutely monstrous for Alex Bregman, who I think no doubt will win the MVP award in the National League. Taylor Lindsay, 63 home runs. No one else particularly close to him. We've talked about his power capabilities for a while now, for the last few years. Massive year, 63 homers, 144 runs driven in. Anyways, your top players by WAR, Wander Franco actually leads the American League, not Mike Trout. This is the first time Mike Trout has not led the American League in WAR in, let's see, since 2013. So there you go, Wander Franco, and it's possible that someone like Franco or Betts will unseat Mike Trout and his insane MVP streak in the American League. We'll have to see. Rendon's up there, and Chris Bryant. What a terrific year for Chris Bryant and the Houston Astros. They are in the playoffs, so that's going to be fun to watch. Let's see here. Top by OPS, Bregman, Betts, Rendon, Trout. I think this could be Mookie Betts. I think this could be a Mookie Betts MVP. We'll have to see, but I'm starting to think it's Mookie Betts this year. And then Matt Adams and Wander Franco. So there you go. It could be Franco as well. Stolen base leader is Osmi Gregorio, a shortstop for the Washington Nationals. So there's your hitting leaders and your pitching leaders to end the year. Madison Bumgarner, best ERA, 1.87. He will be competing with the likes of Kershaw and Wood. And I mean, this National League Cy Young race is crazy. Look at these guys go. Jose Fernandez, great year for him, 2.28 ERA, also saved the Marlins season. Walker Buehler, John Neese. Those are all National League guys. We still don't know who has the best ERA in the American League because those are all National League guys. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see. It is Patrick Corbin with a 2.80. So I think there might have just been massively different run environments in the two leagues this year. Interesting. Kershaw leads WAR, but he's injured. Buehler, Fernandez, Bumgarner, Neese, Wood. In the American League, let's just see. Tyler Epler led WAR with 5.4. That's going to be a crazy Cy Young race in both of those for very different reasons. Your strikeout leaders, Walker Buehler, he struck out 320. No one else came even close. And, of course, Jen Ho-Sang saved 48 games. However, Ryan Healy took him deep in that very important game 163. Pirates will not be in the playoffs this year. However, the Miami Marlins will be, so let's see what happens. All right, our simulation ends here at the playoff tree for 2021. After this, I will have just a little bit of a recap at the end so we can just kind of remind ourselves, for example, who won the World Series in every year. So here we go, Marlins versus Diamondbacks, Tigers versus Red Sox in these wildcard games. Who will come out on top? Winner take all. Diamondbacks advance. Sorry, Marlins fans. I know a lot of people root for this Marlins team, but Diamondbacks advance and the Red Sox advance. So there you go. It's going to be Astros versus Red Sox, Twins versus Blue Jays, Cardinals versus Diamondbacks, Braves versus Dodgers in these division series. Diamondbacks already off to a 2-0 lead against the Cardinals, who won 105 games this season. Meanwhile, they have a 1-1 here between the Braves and the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays and Astros win their respective game ones. Astros take a 2-0 lead over the Red Sox. Meanwhile, it's a split series here. Cardinals do manage to stave off elimination and force a game 4. Braves are up 2-1 on the Dodgers. Oh, and here we go. Diamondbacks advance and Braves advance. So your NLCS is set. Astros and Twins hold 2-1 leads at the moment. And there you go. All those series won 3-1. It's going to be the Astros, it's going to be the Twins, it's going to be the Braves, it's going to be the Diamondbacks. I believe all these teams have won a World Series in this simulation except for the Minnesota Twins. They have not won a World Series yet, so that's definitely who I'm rooting for. Otherwise, we're going to get a repeat champion, which hasn't happened yet, and I believe. So here's a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wildcard team, won 92 games this season. Man, missing Kershaw must have really stunk for those Dodgers. Rendon, definitely the star hitter for this team this year. Front of that rotation with Neese and Bauer, very strong. Here's a look at Bauer's career stats for those of you interested. He hasn't had like a monster season, but he does typically have like a good season. So that's a look at Trevor Bauer and his career. Braves are here. This Braves team looks quite strong. Matt Olson hit 54 home runs. Hayward's playing well. Ian Happ played well. Turdoslavich, just a weird year for Turdoslavich. I mean, I think just his ability to hit for average is completely down the gutter, but then he walks 124 times. Don't know what to make of that guy. Alex Wood and Mike Minor. This is a really good Braves rotation. I would say the Braves rotation is deeper than the Diamondbacks because Alex Wood can go toe-to-toe for anyone, but these back-end guys, Perez and Bevan, those are stronger than their D-backs competitors. Astros versus Twins. Astros won 101 games this year. They had some big years. Soto had a big year. Bryant had a huge year. I'm looking for, where's Correa? Correa hit 41 home runs. He had a 7-more year, so he has a huge year. Their pitching, their bullpen's pretty good. Like, they added Reyes Maranta, and I think that's been a very good addition for them. He saved 9 games for them down the stretch. Starting rotation could be a little bit questionable. James Paxton historically has been very good for this team, but his ratings are on the decline, so we'll just have to see. And it's the Minnesota Twins, who I'm personally rooting for. They actually have Jordan Cavanario, who is formerly a Miami Marlin, and looks like he had a decent enough year, pretty much average for them. Perez is here. Gallardo was so good down the stretch for them. I wonder if he'll come up big in the playoffs. And just a lot of power in this lineup, a lot of home runs. So we'll have to see who comes out on top in these championship series. Okay, so Astros up 2-0, and then it's a split series here, 1-1 between the Diamondbacks and the Braves heading into Game 3. Braves win Game 3. And the Diamondbacks tie it back up, so there will be Game 5 between these two. Meanwhile, Astros up 2-1 on the Minnesota Twins. Twins tie it back up, and the D-backs take a 3-2 lead. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, 3-2 leads for the Astros and the Diamondbacks over the Twins and the Braves. Diamondbacks will advance to the World Series. They're in the World Series. Meanwhile, over here we have games 6 and 7, potentially, versus the Astros and Twins. Can the Twins force a Game 7? Yes, they can. Okay, here we go. Game 7, American League Championship Series. Astros versus Twins. Who will advance to the World Series to face the Arizona Diamondbacks? It is going to be the Houston Astros. Let's go ahead and check that one out, actually. League Championship Series, a 2-1 victory. Astros defeat the Twins. Looks like, is that Tom Murphy? Did I get that right? Yeah, Tom Murphy had a single to bring the Twins within 1. However, just a really great start from Brock Stewart of the Houston Astros. Great job. The Astros advanced to World Series, and we will have a repeat champion. The Diamondbacks won the World Series in, was it 26? No, I mean, that was when the Nationals won. What's John Neese's ring? 2014, so that was a while ago. The Astros are defending champs, so they could go back-to-back here because they won in 2020. So let's see what happens here in this World Series, the final World Series of the simulation. Astros win Game 1. Astros win Game 2. Diamondbacks win Game 3. Astros win Game 4. Okay, so we have elimination games from here on out. The Houston Astros are World Series champions. They go back-to-back. Good for the Houston Astros. I like that they kept this logo the whole time and never updated. Juan Soto has a ring. He has 2 rings now. Goodness gracious, they won last year. But there you go. Houston Astros, World Series champions. They win that series in 5. The final game of the season. Oh my goodness, I know, right? Final game of the season. The Astros defeat the Diamondbacks 10-5. And the reason I said, oh my goodness, Juan Soto is your World Series MVP again. He hits .444, slugs .611. He is the World Series MVP again, back to back. Juan Soto is 23 years old. He has 2 World Series MVPs and a Rookie of the Year, and of course rings as well with that. Way to go, Juan Soto. Over here, looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks, looks like no one could really get it going. No one could really get it going for these Diamondbacks. Ohtani went 4 for 6. So shout outs to Shohei Ohtani. He played in the World Series. All right, so there you go. That's going to wrap up our simulation. But we do have a recap. And you know what? We should also do end of season awards, shouldn't we? Let's do end of season awards. Final award season of the simulation. 2021 award winners. We have Wander Franco grabbing an American League batting title at the young age of 20. Way to go, Wander Franco. He's already played 3 years in the big leagues. Alex Bregman grabs a batting title in the National League. I feel like he's about to win a lot of things. Here are your Gold Glove winners. Sean Murphy of the Cleveland Spiders gets his first career Gold Glove award. He is 27 years old. Ahmed Rosario at first base. I know it's weird. The White Sox are weird. They have Marcus Semien playing second base and Austin Riley playing third base, so Ahmed Rosario is their first baseman. Chris Taylor, oh, by the way, their shortstop is Nico Goodrum. I would maybe put Nico at first base myself. I don't know how I'd do that. Chris Taylor wins at second base. He's won quite a few Gold Gloves. This is his third, including a second in a row. Bo Bichette, great defensive shortstop in this simulation. Second straight Gold Glove award for him. Mike Tauchman wins a Gold Glove. That's his second straight. Daz Cameron of the Chicago White Sox wins a Gold Glove award in center field. So congratulations to Daz Cameron. That's kind of a newcomer to this. Carlos Gomez wins a Gold Glove in right field for the New York Yankees. That's his 4th career Gold Glove award. He has won the last 3 at right field. He also won 2012 at center field. That was back when he played for the Milwaukee Brewers. That's the American League. National League now. Real Muto grabs another Gold Glove. That is his 4th in a row at catcher. Paul Goldschmidt gets a Gold Glove. Looks like Paul Goldschmidt had just a pretty average, slightly above average year. He's had some years like that, but that's his 2nd career Gold Glove. Matt Reynolds wins at second base. That's his 2nd in a row. Joey Gallo wins at third base. First career Gold Glove for Joey Gallo. Here is the career of Joey Gallo so far. Not hitting great. Hitting definitely on the decline following a very steep decline following the 2017 season. He does have 355 career home runs, and he's not yet 28, but I just think it's just not a tenable sort of like profile. He struck out 258 times last year, and it's just, and he walked 30 times. That's the bad part. He doesn't have the discipline anymore. Adam Hall, a shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds. First time I said Adam Hall's name, but he wins the Gold Glove. He only played 96 games, just like a pure glove guy, I guess, but he's the shortstop Gold Glove for for the Cincinnati Reds in the National League. Ian Happ, left field. Look at Ian Happ's ratings. They're actually really nice because he's such a great defensive left fielder. I know he could definitely play some center field, but they have Jason Hayward there. So Gold Glove for Ian Happ, Gold Glove for Jason Hayward. He's won a lot of Gold Gloves. This is Jason Hayward's 7th Gold Glove. Here's the career of Jason Hayward. Yeah, I know. Crazy. 76 WAR player. And Domingo Santana gets another Gold Glove. He's a great defender in this. American League Reliever of the Year, Steve Cishek. He was also the Reliever of the Year in 2019, so congrats to Steve Cishek. Also had a really good 2020, so these last few years for Steve Cishek, I would say might just be the best reliever in baseball. Good for him, good for the Detroit Tigers. Luis Amaya, the strikeout merchant of the Toronto Blue Jays, finishes 2nd. He gets 5 first-place votes, and then Chris Perez, Noel DeJesus, Lance McCullers Jr., gets a vote, but he has a 4.30 ERA. He had some games that he started. Kind of confusing. I'm sure he was good coming out of the pen, maybe not so good as a starting pitcher. National League Reliever of the Year is Cameron Smith of the Pittsburgh Pirates, 2.24 ERA. Also started 7 games, but that's 100 innings pitched. He's Reliever of the Year. He was also Reliever of the Year in 2018. Kelvin Herrera gets 2 first-place votes. This concludes the simulation for Kelvin Herrera, who has a career 2.67 ERA. 24 F4. I mean, he's been just on a tear. Great career for Kelvin Herrera. Felix Bautista finishes 3rd. This guy's been a monster these last few years for the Marlins. Great young reliever. And Corey Knebel on the Braves. American League Silver Sluggers. Wyatt Matheson gets another one. That's his 2nd straight Silver Slugger. Way to go. Ryan McMahon,
He's been great. Mookie Betts, Hunter Dozier, Wander Franco. Tyler Dearden wins himself a Silver Slugger. He had a 6-WAR season this year, 150 OPS plus. Great young player, 23 years old for the Seattle Mariners, well deserved. Mike Trout, and in right field, it's the man of the hour, Juan Soto. 2 World Series MVPs. Now he adds a Silver Slugger, also was a Rookie of the Year. Quite the impressive start to a career for Juan Soto. And then Luke Voigt gets one. He has, that's his 3rd career Silver Slugger award. Now moving on to the National League, Omar Narvaez gets another Silver Slugger. He also won in 2019. This was back when he played for the Tampa Bay Rays. He has a really good season for the Phillies this year. Congratulations, Omar Narvaez. Matt Adams, 53 homers. He wins. Alex Bregman wins. It seems like he's just going to win a lot of things right now. Corey Seager, shortstop. Aaron Judge, left field. That's his first Silver Slugger. Also made his first All-Star game this year. Christian Yelich wins in center field. He had a really nice sort of recovery after a rough start to this season. Congratulations to Christian Yelich. That's his 3rd Silver Slugger. He also won Silver Sluggers in 18 and 19 when he won MVP. And Mitch Haniger, I mean, look at look at Mitch Haniger since starting in 2018. Look at Mitch Haniger. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal for the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, Rookies of the Year now is going to be Nick Decker, unanimous. He was the number 1 prospect coming into this year. 114 OPS plus, 25 homers, 2 WAR, corner outfielder. Congrats to Nick Decker. Austin Slater's there. It's not, let's see here. De Jesus Angel is here. He started 16 games for the Mariners, 3.86 ERA. It's not the greatest of rookie classes, as you can imagine. But there you go. Those are your American League guys. Nick Decker, unanimous. In the National League, it's Cody Clemens, unanimous. 135 OPS plus, 4 WAR, 35 homers. A season a little bit reminiscent of the season that Jonathan India just had. Not quite as good in the OBP, but I think there's some similarities there. So congratulations to Cody Clemens. Garrett Hampson had a 3-WAR season for the San Francisco Giants, playing second base. Francisco Justo, 2.93 ERA, split some time between the rotation and the bullpen. Cater Montero, Bobby Wall. So there you go. Manager of the Year is Tony DeJesus of the Toronto Blue Jays, and it is Ray Thompson of the Arizona Diamondbacks for the National League Manager of the Year. Now for the Cy Young Award. Wow. Jack Flaherty, Cy Young Award winner, 18 wins, 3.65 ERA, led the league in strikeouts with 252, 4.5 WAR. Obviously, it was a weak selection of pitchers generally in the American League. I think just the run environment might have been crazy. I don't know, but even these ERA pluses aren't that crazy. Joey Wentz, 3.24 ERA. He was projected to do very well, and he absolutely broke out this year for the Detroit Tigers. He's only 24 years old, and he's already Cy Young runner-up. Mike Leach, by the way, has looks like he had surgery in August, so in 28 starts had a 3.21 ERA. Maybe he would have won if he could pitch the last month of the season. 7 first-place votes. And Tyler Epler of the Rays, he led F4. Great young pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, he's not that young. He's about to be 29, but look at his career. Very nice career for Tyler Epler of the Tampa Bay Rays. Good pickup, 2013 first-year player draft, 3rd round, and Patrick Corbin and Julio Teheran, they round things off. Kershaw grabs himself another Cy Young Award. Amazing. How many in a row is that for him? 1, 2, 3. No, sorry. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 in 6 years, actually, and 3 in a row, and 7 for his career. Congratulations to Clayton Kershaw, who keeps getting hurt in September, so he doesn't pitch in the playoffs. Dodgers have not won a ring in this simulation, so that's sort of an unfortunate outcome. But this is the career of Clayton Kershaw, a career 2.44 ERA, closing in on 200 wins. He's already at 3,000 strikeouts. Unbelievable career. Way to go, Clayton Kershaw. Obviously, he's still got more to play, but we're not going to do it in this simulation. Madison Bumgarner gets 4 first-place votes. I thought maybe he would win again. Had the best ERA in MLB. So that's Madison Bumgarner. Alex Wood, ERA below 2, 18 wins. He finishes 3rd. These are so many great pitches here. Jose Fernandez, 2.28 ERA. Walker Buehler struck out 320 batters, and he finished 5th in Cy Young voting. That's how crazy the National League was this year. And John Neese, 2.56 ERA. Probably the best pitching year of John Neese's career, and John Neese has had a pretty good career in this. So there you go. That is the National League Cy Young Award. Now it's time for our MVPs. Let's see who wins in the American League. Will Trout reign of terror end? Yes, it will. Wander Franco is your American League MVP for 2021 at the age of 20, 210 hits, 344 batting average, led the league in WAR with 8.6, 161 OPS plus. Congratulations to Wander Franco and the Kansas City Royals. That is the end of Mike Trout's run. Mookie Betts finishes second. He led slugging. He led OPS. He hit 41 home runs, 15 bases stolen to 1 caught, stealing 8 WAR. Great season. I honestly thought he was going to be the winner. Mike Trout gets 2 first-place votes, 8.5 WAR for him, OPS about 1,000, 46 homers, 15 stolen bases. Here's the career of Mike Trout. It's very, very special, but that is the end of Mike Trout's run. He won 7 consecutive MVP awards during the course of this simulation. Ryan McMahon, Taylor Lindsay, Chris Bryant, Hunter Dozier, Carlos Correa, Starlin Castro. I mean, Starlin Castro had such a great year this year in his first year with the Minnesota Twins. Congratulations to him. Let's see, 26 homers, 127 OPS plus, and with his defense is so nice, 7.1 WAR. Juan Soto's here, Devers is here, Voit, Alvarez, Dearden, Wyatt Matheson. Great job, but Wander Franco, the AL MVP. And now it's time for the NL MVP, the final award to be handed out. It goes to Alex Bregman. He gets 21 of 30 first place votes, and he wins it with just 125 games played. I think it's absolutely the right call. 10.7 more in 125 games. I mean, gosh, if he had just played, 155 games, again, this would have been, an all-time great season, up there with the likes of Trout's. I think it might have been like his 2017 or whatever, but 41 homers for Bregman, 714 slugging, 219 OPS plus. It's just absolutely insane. He is your MVP. Matt Adams finishes second. He was the MVP in 2017. And, he's just a home run hitter, up to 383 career home runs for Matt Adams. Anthony Rendon finishes third. We've got Corey Seager, who had a great year. Matt Olson. Yelich, just great bounce back for him after not the best 2020. Judge, Bumgarner, Tatis Jr. Here's Fernando Tatis's year, about on par with his 2020. He seems to be pretty consistent in this simulation. It's just a good 7 WAR guy. Can't complain about that. Alex Wood gets votes. Jose Fernandez, Hayward. Mitch is just an absolute beast. My goodness, Mitch Haniger. Sam Hilliard, he gets some down ballot MVP action. He hit 44 home runs this year. Also struck out 260 times. What a fascinating player for the Padres. Ian Happ, there you go. Ian Happ also had a 6 WAR season. John Neese and Josh Bell, 31 homers, 953 OPS, 154 OPS plus, 5.4 WAR. Pretty much the only guy on the Pittsburgh Pirates who likes to hit, it seems. They have great pitching, but they definitely rely on him for the offense. So there you go. That is the end of our simulation, folks, but let's check in with a quick recap. So here are your World Series winners. The Tampa Bay Rays won in 2012, our inaugural season. Their top hitters were Ben Zobrist and Evan Longoria. Top pitchers, James Shields and Alex Cobb. Congratulations to them. Seattle Mariners won in 2013. Top hitters, Kyle Seager and Brad Miller. Top pitchers, King Felix and also James Paxton. James Paxton had a very interesting career in this save. Arizona Diamondbacks won in 2014. They won 102 games. They win the World Series. Adam Eaton and Elvis Andrus were their most valuable players by WAR. Also, you see David Wright there. I'm sure that's interesting. Their top pitchers were Wade Miley and John Neese. Next up is the Atlanta Braves. They won 100 games in 2015 and won the World Series. Top hitters by WAR, Jason Hayward and Ryan Zimmerman. Top pitchers were Chris Medlin and the reliever, Craig Kimbrell. Way to go, Craig Kimbrell. In 2016, the Washington Nationals won. Their top hitters by F4 were Bryce Harper and Adam LaRoche. Top pitchers were Steven Strasburg and Jordan Zimmerman. So congratulations to them. In 2017, the Yankees win 101 games. They also win the World Series. Troy Tulowitzki and Joey Votto are their most valuable hitters, and it is Felix Hernandez and CC Sabathia who are their most valuable pitchers. This was probably the most powerful team put out by this simulation. The 2018 St. Louis Cardinals, unbelievable. Such good pitching. Their top position players were John Jay and Matt Holliday. Top pitchers were Chris Madlin and Madison Bumgarner. They won 110 games and the World Series. That's absolutely insane. 2019 Blue Jays were your winners. They won 98 games in the regular season. Top hitters Jason Lebledjian and Bo Bichette. Top pitchers Jack Flaherty, who is now a Cy Young Award winner, and Julio Teheran. Finally, here's your 2020 Astros, 89
wins in the regular season. Carlos Correa and Jonathan Villar were their top regular season players, and it was Aaron Nola and Luis Cruz among pitchers. Not so fast, my friends. They win another one in 2021 under manager Carlos Pena. This time they went 101 games in regular season. Chris Bryant, Carlos Correa, Aaron Nola, Brock Stewart. There you are. Those are your World Series champions. Those are what the teams look like, at least in terms of their top players. Here's a look at the highest JAWs among players that are currently age 50 or younger. These are just players that played throughout this simulation. The average Hall of Fame JAWs is 55.2. So Giancarlo Stanton, he's right at the cutoff there with 55.1. So players you would generally expect to become Hall of Famers include Ryan Zimmerman, Troy Tulowitzki, Joey Votto, Ramos Ramirez, Matt Holliday, Hanley Ramirez. Wow, look at the career of Hanley Ramirez. I can definitely see it. I mean, he hit 300 for his career in MLB, 71 career WAR. Wow, I don't think I realized Hanley was that good. So after Hanley, Jason Hayward, David Wright, Miggy, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, those guys you would generally expect to become Hall of Famers if we simulated further. Pitchers after that cutoff are David Price, Johan Santana, who, by the way, here's the career of Johan Santana. Keep in mind the simulation starts at 2012, so not much for him in this simulation, unfortunately. Madison Bumgarner, CC Sabathia, Felix Hernandez, and Clayton Kershaw, though, definitely the two best pitchers in this simulation. Amazing careers, absolutely amazing careers. I see that Felix needs elbow ligament reconstruction surgery. That is an injury suffered in September. Did not have the best of years in 2021. Honestly, you could consider this maybe the end of Felix Hernandez's career, at least the end of him being like a top pitcher in this league. So here's his career stats for you. Absolutely phenomenal job by Felix Hernandez in this simulation. Here are your American League award winners. In this column, it's the MVPs. A lot of Mike Trout here, obviously. Keep in mind, simulation starts in 2012. Here are your Cy Young Award winners in the American League. Here are your Rookies of the Year in the American League, and here are your Relievers of the Year in the American League. Same screen here except for the National League. Here are your MVPs in the National League. Here are your Cy Young winners in the National League. Clayton Kershaw with 7. Wow. Here are your Rookies of the Year in the National League, and here are your Relievers of the Year in the National League. Craig Kimbrell, 1-3. A few records that have been set. Austin Riley broke the single-season strikeout record in 2021. He struck out 266 times for the Chicago White Sox. I know that's not a super interesting one, but another really cool one is that Albert Pujols is actually the career leader for doubles all time. Here's the leaderboard. He has about 30 more than second place, Tris Speaker. Moving on here to the pitching stuff, I'm looking here. Clayton Kershaw in 2019 had the lowest opponent on base percentage with a 210, just beating out Pedro Martinez by decimal points. I mean, like, goodness gracious, look how close they were. In 2000, Walter Johnson also up there on that leaderboard. Walker Buehler had a 14.38 strikeouts per 9 in 2021. That is also a record. You can see in 2019, he also held the record with 14. Next up, Randy Johnson, Jack Flaherty 2020, Pedro Martinez, Walker Buehler, just a lot of strikeouts, man. A lot of strikeouts. Yet for a career, and I think this is probably minimum 1,000 innings pitched if I had to guess. The leaderboards for strikeouts per 9 right now. Bauer, Flaherty, Fernandez, James Paxton, DeGrom, and then you get Randy Johnson. So pretty impressive stuff there. Did I say Fernandez? He's there. Let's see. So those are some new records. Also, K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, appearing in 1,257 games. He passes Jesse Orozco. Keep an eye out in the coming days for sort of a finale type video of this series. It's just going to be a quick montage of players that I'm sure people are interested in, like David Wright. Here's the career stats of David Wright. You can see them for yourself. Judge for yourself whether he would be a Hall of Famer. I definitely think he would be personally. I will also leave in the description of that upcoming video a link to download both the pre-version of this save, so like, starting in 2012, and also this final version in case you wanted to look up a player of your own and see how they did, or even perhaps simulate forward despite the fact I have no way to feed young talent, but you could download a draft class, I guess. But yes, thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for watching Fake Major League Baseball with me. Hopefully we'll be watching the real thing real soon.